throughout the week. And this is a good flop, obviously, for Sergey. Flush draw overcard. It's going to be hard for him to get value by betting it, though. He may not even realize he's already ahead.
Steven should mainly continue.
Keep applying pressure.
He doesn't.
He does. And look at this. Steven takes
He
advantage
gets
to the
there.
hand.
Like, how many outs he had? 3. Yeah.
But look how many outs Sergey has. And they're all live. They weren't buried anyway. So 11 outs still. And Steven may not even realize that he's ahead. Because Sergey, if he bets, Sergey can actually dictate the size of the bet if he does, versus letting Steven do it for him.
I don't think Steven will go away just yet.
No, maybe, but look how much he's counting out. I mean, that's over 3 million. This is going to be an almost pot-sized bet. This looks like a 4 million bet. Wow. I mean, that's a pressure bet.
On the chip leader.
Yes.
That's pretty sick. Yeah.
You're basically taking 1/6 of your stack. 4 million. A little more than the pot. The sunglasses are back on.
Yeah.
The wheels inside Steven's head are circulating, and he does fold.
Whoa.
Well done, Sergey. This is what I was saying before, that we can't count the other two players out. They may be lesser
they're
known,
not.
but they've shown that they can make moves themselves.
I've seen Sergey with some sick moves.
Making Moldova proud.
Yeah, he's definitely going for it. He's not sitting around and waiting. It's definitely going to be an interesting dynamic three-way versus Steven as the chip leader.
We can't hear all the table talk, but I'm surprised, at least not visibly, either of the two players appear to have approached the subject of a deal. So I'm beginning to think that maybe these two players are also experienced as well, or maybe they're happy already. Well, I've won 100,000 and change. Let's just keep playing.
That's exactly correct. I think the amount already get locked up for third place is a great payday for coming over to Malta for 5 days.
They may stay for more than 5 days now. I would go to the beach for another
And to be fair,
5 to 50 days.
who even instigates the start of negotiations with the stacks as they are? I don't think anybody wants to, really.
Hey, you can. It's fine. You can say, let's look at numbers, and that's all you need to say. And anybody want to look at numbers?
I'm very happy for it to play out. I really am.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would play out regardless. So from our aspect, we're taking you to the end. There's not going to be a deal where we're anticlimactic. It's over. They can just decide to even out the stacks a little bit, but they still will be playing for chunks. They just may not be playing a €150,000 heads-up battle.
Stephen with another hand. It's all right being good, and it's all right being able to play post-flop, but when you get the cards as well, it feels like there's a name already etched on that trophy.
It's nice. He will put a lot of pressure here, and having a hand when you do it, it's just even better, right?
Very
Joseph
good lay
folds,
down.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have been shocked if Josef just got out of control there and we saw the chips go in the middle, but he'll look back at this and say, I didn't even need to think about that one. What are you guys talking about? That was an easy fold for me.
Yeah. Talking of money, John, if there is no royal flush in spades,
Oh, no.
Jason owes me €1.
How do we verify this at this point? I'm
a
just
whole
going to
euro.
assume that I
One
already
whole
owe you.
euro. It was started at 50 cents. We actually doubled the bet.
Yes.
Not a whole euro for every hand dealt.
It has to be
without
royal flush in spades
royal
because that was
flush.
the 8-8
And
poker
it has
promotion.
to be the 1% of a royal flush in spades as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
I think I'm drawing dead if we can verify that it didn't happen before today because we've seen every hand today.
So
Can I buy out for 99 cents, Tower?
Would you want the change?
I'm going to pay up now.
I feel like I finished fourth.
It's like on some betting sites you have a 2-goal lead and they already count it as a win. We're going to count it as a win, and if the spades
Hold on a
happen,
minute,
it's
hold on a
all
minute.
good.
Yeah, it's real.
Yes, it's a real euro. You could take a photo of it. Say, I may have lost the Tower treble, but I won a euro off Jackson.
There you go.
So it didn't happen the whole festival.
Nope.
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 Because
And with-
at
and
my table, there was someone getting a royal flush with clubs.
Yeah,
actually.
we've seen
Yeah.
clubs twice.
Yeah.
So clubs were popular, spades not nearly as much. And I think some of the issue was that 888 wasn't actively pushing it the first day or two, so not all the dealers, I think, were even aware that this promotion was going on. So somebody may have had it. We don't know.
Ah.
We'll never know. The point is that someone needed to be announced having it, and there was no announcement made that anybody had the Spade Royal Flush. It was made very clear starting on day 1C, though,
If
about this promotion.
if the final hand of the event is a Royal Flush in spades, I'll double it back to you.
Double it. Wow.
Yeah, okay. That's how big we are in the air.
Yeah, we're big rollers.
We are crushing the commentary
I was going to
box.
say you can get 1 to 1,000 from me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, John's used to doing random stupid prop bets with me when we've done comps before, like €5,
Well,
10
you
euro.
two play Chinese together.
Yeah, we are. We do play poker every day together. In fact, on the not real money poker, but we do play. We love Chinese poker.
yep.
So we are 3-handed for the title. As you can see, the stacks there, 2 on 30 mil, and the chip leader, Steven Van Zadeloff, on 54 mil.
It's very interesting to see him just limping the
Mhm.
button.
You don't very often go 3-way to a flop 3-handed.
Steven's been mixing it up a lot. We've seen him
Yeah,
limp
I
a
know.
lot, and we've seen him go up to 3.6x's as well,
Sorry.
and everything in between.
Checked all the way around, pairs the board on the turn, the 9 of spades.
So this may check around again. I mean, it does hit the small blind and big blind a little bit. Now they can think that their 8s are good if they had them and represent. Even if they don't, that's what they have. It's more likely that they have a 9, but that as well. But 9, they could have dunk bet. And Josef taking it down. Steven wanting no part. He had the best hand, but it's hard to know you had the best hand there.
Yeah, but as you saw earlier, Steven actually checked back his 8, like middle pair. So you can still have some middle pairs there, checking back. So, but yeah, it's a nice move from Joseph, taking it down.
The high roller is still going on, as we can see, and it looks like there are 5 players. Chris De Silva, 4.
Chris,
Yeah.
Chris De Silva's still in.
He's also another beast.
yeah,
Yes.
he is a beast.
He is indeed.
Hippodrome
Big-
pro.
Big friends with Anthony Gardner, who's railing Chris De Silva. Anthony Gardner, professional footballer, used to play for Tottenham Hotspur, Sheffield Wednesday, England cap as well. One of the best centre-halves in the game.
Look at the trivia Towers coming up with.
He loves his poker, does Anthony Gardner. He loves it. I interviewed Audley Harrison, the boxer.
The boxer. Okay.
Yes, the boxer. The gold medalist from 1990, I think. It might have been
This
a
was
bit later.
before John was born.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Might have been a bit later. Might not have been 1990. Might have been 2000. Yes.
It was still before John was
Anyway,
born.
yes.
No, it was.
It was.
Close.
He won the Olympic gold medal at heavyweight boxing in the year 2000. And he played a big event in United
Oof.
Kingdom.
Both players hitting a piece of this, but top 2 pair for Steven after he calls from the big blind. And he does check, and this flop hits the buttons range a little better, but Josef with some value. Now
Getting
this
some
will help
equity.
Josef, yes. I mean, he has some equity, but he can also get away from a big bet pretty easily now.
Yeah.
And
Whoa.
will Josef try to bet here or just
No.
see a free river? Either is okay. He may even... It's a pretty big bet, though. 2 million? Not that big. Half the pot.
I don't really like this bet. I don't know what he's thinking. Like he wants a jack to fold, or
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
yeah,
I would have rather to see a free river.
yeah. I'm surprised. Just Steven thinks he got nothing and will just barrel off here.
Yeah, probably go check.
Maybe he's turning his 5 into a bluff here.
He does check
Yep.
because he knows
Yeah.
he's only betting out a jack, and he would have bet the jack
Yeah.
out on the turn. There could have been another reason for it, but that's my thinking of what he was thinking.
Yeah.
So betting into 2 pair. Stephen increases his chip stack to 58 mil.
Viking Prince asking, can I find the structure anywhere? Well, we could tell you what the structure is, but it should also be on the Battle of Malta website under the live reporting section.
Yeah.
Fantastic job done by Will Shilbeer and also Aaron McBride. They've been working for 7 days straight.
The blinds are on the TV right now. 300k, 600k with a 600 big blind ante. And Stephen in seat number 2 has exactly half the chips in play. 58 mil. There are 116 million chips in play.
Just a couple.
It's not a bad problem to have when you can't see your cards for your chips.
He should be feeling very comfortably having the chip lead. I think he's getting to know his opponent pretty good now. So let's see. Let's see if we get some more fireworks.
More fireworks. John
More
wants as much
fireworks.
fireworks as possible.
Of course.
Talking of fireworks,
Back and forward.
they are
back and
down
forward.
to 3 in the high roller.
Wow, from 5 to 3 just like that.
And Chris is still in.
Wow.
Go, Chris.
I was talking about
He's a super nice guy.
the high
Chris.
roller with Chris earlier. We came into day 2. I had a chip lead. He bought in with a 15 big stack.
15 big stack.
Yeah.
And here we go, final 3.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here with you guys. Not that that's bad at all. But
He is an incredible player. He's
Yeah,
also a
he's
nice
so
guy.
good.
If you see him around, I mean, he's hard to miss. He's always wearing his Hippodrome patch and just a super nice guy, willing to talk to any poker player. He's very popular in the UK, but he does travel some as well.
yeah.
I recommend if you're interested in, don't go over to him to talk about your bad beats, but if you're interested in meeting a good poker player, he is very approachable.
Yeah, definitely. I met him traveling around. I think I met him in like 5-6 stops or something last year. So he's
I've
traveling quite a bit.
I met him at the MPN PT. The last time I saw him anyway was at the MPN PT in London. He was there. You weren't
Yeah.
there for that one. You were there, John?
In
so you-
February, I think. No?
In
June.
June.
No, not that one.
Will
but
you be heading
I
to,
was
talking of
there.
February, Madrid, the last MPNPT
Definitely,
of all time?
of course. Can't miss it. right?
Everybody from the staff all the way down has said Partyville. It
Yep.
will be one big party.
Sounds good to me.
And Madrid is in February. Check all the dates, 6th till the 9th of February for the final MPNPT ever. It's going to be a sad occasion, but it's also going to be a happy ending to what has been a fantastic tour that has grown and grown and grown. And it's
And you'll
been-
be able to meet NordicBet sponsored player John Kite.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's definitely what you want to meet. No.
No.
But yeah, it's going to be a good stop.
Yeah.
I hope a lot of people will join us.
And also, you'll be able to meet Main Event Travels Fraser Mack, who will be coming back into the comms box soon.
Ah, good. Fraser is our utility man.
We-
We had Diva have to postpone / potentially cancel. She was
Yeah.
very much looking forward to joining us, but unfortunately, something important came up. She's definitely very busy as a Betson ambassador. She's also a ladies
Yes.
poker ambassador,
Yeah.
and lots of different things have come up. But she said she's still going to try to make it. We pushed John forward. John said, "I'm available. I can come," and we may be seeing her later. And Fraser, who we didn't think we were going to have a spot for, we do have now a spot for, and he's fantastic in the booth.
Yeah, getting another big hand here.
Look at this.
Aces, sevens, and king 10 suited 3-way.
We
This
could,
That's
is
pretty sick.
nuts.
we could easily see a 3-bet and potential 2 callers.
Yeah, let's see what he goes with.
That looks like 5 million right there. Plus any? No. So it looks like it's 5
5 total,
million
yeah.
flat.
He knows he doesn't need that much protection with
Mhm.
aces, as he would go larger with the other holdings.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no, what's going
Oh,
on? This
what's
is
happening here, man?
suicide.
Oh!
Oh no.
That's
Yeah.
that 12 mil.
That's what I'm saying. Joseph have a big heart, and
Big
this
heart.
is what he is up to.
This saved Sergey though.
Can we have a flat?
Yeah, I think Steven should never jam here. I don't think he will either.
No.
Like, he knows his opponent, and like, if he thinks he have kings or queens, he can just jam, but just see a flop, let him hang himself.
I'd love to see a flat.
Because
I know.
Sergey may have just gone crazy as well. If Josef folds, then
Yeah.
Sergey could have easily gone in with the sevens thinking he's good. It's not going crazy. It's actually a decent play against Steven's 3-bet range, which we see he has aces, but Steven should have a lot more than just aces.
Well,
Yeah.
it is a flat.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
flatting here.
Yeah.
Always. Like
You've gone
with
into
aces.
the head of Steven.
No, it's like
It's
standard if you
Okay.
play good or play better, higher stakes, whatever.
On the
But Joseph have a nice hand here on the button.
There's 25
Intensive.
million in the middle already. We're going to see a flop.
Let's see. What will it be?
Oh my.
my word. How does this
Action.
not end up
Steven
in
is
the middle?
not liking this flop for sure, I'm telling you.
wow.
But when you just call prefab, you just have to continue
And check by
call
Josef.
or check. Yeah.
Josef must think he has the best bet. Now improves to a flush draw as well. Look at all the outs
Whoa.
that Josef has. He thinks he's probably ahead. He would have 15 outs to 7 of clubs. Apparently it was maybe one of the burn cards because we didn't see it in the player's hands.
Check.
Oh, we did
Yeah.
see it in one of the
How
players'
has
hands.
this not gone in? I am loving
Oh, he's actually hold up.
this. I am loving this.
And Steven has no reason to really... I mean, he may bet just to control the size of the betting, but I don't know. He can't...
Yeah, I
Even
think
going
he can bet
check,
now.
he could probably bet.
I think he can make a nice
He's-
bet. Like,
He is reaching out for
Yeah,
some chips.
he should, definitely. Your
That's a
opponent
lot
can
of
just
chips.
check back like ace queen or
About 8 mil.
something. Tens, I don't know. Some bluffs containing what Joseph have.
Nearly 9 million. 8.8 million.
Yeah, it's a good sizing.
And
Try to get a call from one per hand.
And he may get a call, but Josef is thinking it over. If he's wrong and calls, he's down to 10 million. If he's right and calls, he is the chip leader with 52 million. So quite a big decision for him. If he folds, he can have a nice stack still up 19 million. It's not what he had before the hand. He did give up a lot of chips this hand with the 11 million 4-bet pre-flop. But can certainly still make waves with 19 million. Blinds will go up shortly to 400,000, 800,000, but that would still be over 20 bigs. And decision time, Josef.
Yeah, he's not liking it. Even
You're
with
beating
top
a
pair.
bluff?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yes. You had so much promise in this hand. You flopped the top pair, you flopped the open ender, you turned the flush draw,
And still bricks.
and bricks. That's poker. Then again, Steven had the best hand the entire way.
Yeah.
Steven had some blockers to what Josef was looking to get. And let's see. He doesn't look comfortable at all.
I think he makes the call.
Let's see. Can he get away from it?
If he can get away from
That
it.
camera angle, if you can see him pushing his cards forward. There's a fold. We saw it through the glasses. He's folded.
Wow. Very
Yeah.
nice.
He has made the fold, and a correct fold at that.
Yeah, he knows this range hits Steven's 4-bet calling range. So,
But this brings Steven up to 70 million in
Yeah.
chips. We,
Wow.
for the
A
first time,
massive
have a player with more than 100 big blinds at the table.
whoa.
This will be a major upset now if Steven doesn't show.
So what a fold. What a fold that was.
And we just got confirmation that Fraser will be coming back in about half an hour period of time. But until then, we will be joined by John. I love John's analysis on the hands. I learned something by having John in the booth. I don't nearly play as many tournament poker hands as I used to. And he's played a lot with players of this caliber, especially Steven.
Yeah, he continues just limp here. Even with he doesn't. He used it before this limping strategy because Joseph had the same stack as him, but now he can just put pressure a lot, and still just limps. Let's see. Joseph will not go away from this flop. I think Steven knows or thinks he still have the best hand here. Definitely.
Now he should.
Yeah, definitely now.
The board pairs. Steven's hand looks mega strong. I'm not even sure because of the gut shot. Straight draw Yosef can still improve to, and also any 7. So it does have 6 live outs.
Yeah, but the turn is very bad for Joseph if he thinks he's up against the Jack or 10.
Yes.
Because now his 8 is not live anymore, and that's why he will just give it up.
Two
even
good
with a
lay
gut shot.
downs by
Yeah.
Yosef.
Yeah.
That one he didn't have to think about that.
Pretty standard from both ends.
Hello, everybody in Chatland. I'm sorry that we haven't been paying full attention to any of the chats. The action has just been that great.
We've not been able to take his eyes off.
Yeah, and the chat's going by pretty fast. We do have the chat open on the Battle of Malta Twitch channel. We haven't opened the Facebook chat very often today. But welcome, Kev. Welcome, Conibra. Welcome, Elroy Jets. Welcome, Didier. And welcome to you all. It's been an absolute blast being here for the entire week, spending time with the tower, spending time here in Malta, non-stop action. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with myself tomorrow quite yet. Tower, we know what he's going to be doing. He's going to be commentating again very soon.
We're off to Dublin.
Off to the land of Guinness.
Yes, we are indeed.
Is your liver prepared, Tower?
Do you know what? It's about time I stopped drinking.
You're picking the wrong time to do it, Tower.
It really is, and I've got to go to Dublin.
If you're going to Dublin, you can't stop drinking. You know that.
After Dublin.
impossible.
But then it's always after this, after that, but after Dublin. And the two shorties, not now in a hand. Steven decided to take a hand off after being in just about every hand for the last half hour. And don't expect a big pot to develop here. It did get limped by Yosef, which is what we've seen a lot with these ace-rag kind of hands. And Sergey taking advantage by getting middle pair, trying to chase out some hands like ace-5. Doesn't want anybody to catch up or get some value from ace-5 in this case.
Yeah, getting a call.
And look at this. Now Sergey can feel very comfortable about his hand. Even though he got a call, he could have been nervous. Maybe Yosef has a queen. Now he's hoping Yosef has a queen.
Joseph would mainly bet like top pair here, limping in, but he could trap sometimes. But yeah, Sergey definitely likes his hand now.
And we have people in the chat calling for an ace in the river. So it's not only John that wants to see carnage. Everybody does.
Like, I think Sergey is targeting mainly flush draws now when he's betting. Like, if you think your opponent have just king high, ace high, just check it back and let him hang himself on the river or try to get some value if they hit.
No
Bit
value, but
he got a little bit.
bit on the flop. Nothing on the turn. I just love looking at that monster stack there.
Yeah, it's huge.
He's going for level number 2. If he stacks them differently, you can have level number 3, level number 4, and then accidentally bump into them all and they spill over the table and we'll have to take a break.
Yeah. Definitely. Been there, done that.
My favorite is UC Matala. Like, unless he's dictated otherwise, and then even then he'll still do what he wants usually. He'll try to stack as many chips as he can just in one stack. And I've actually seen him have it like 100 chips, even more high. And somehow it's never knocked over.
Yeah.
I missed him. I think he bubbled this event last year, but he's been on a
Really?
tear in MPM PTs. He's final tabled 2 of them.
Not bad, not bad.
No, he's been playing quite well. He's also loves the cash games, whether it's 1-2, whether it's 50-100. He'll play the whole range of the gamut. He just loves the game. Poker's not his career.
Yeah. Then you definitely just love the game
Yes.
when you play.
But he is a winning player as
everything.
well.
That's always a nice combo.
Absolutely.
You must know him, John. Finnish legend. I know you're Norwegian. Legend is maybe an overstatement, but Finnish. Everybody in Finland, Finnish poker knows who he is.
Was he here?
He wasn't here. He was
No.
here last year, though, and you were here
Okay.
last year. He bubbled last year.
Yeah, I play a lot with Finnish people, so I definitely seen him, but I'm not the best with names.
No. You would recognize him if you saw him 100%.
Yeah.
He's in Tallinn quite a lot.
Then I'd probably battle with him.
Yes.
Sergey in seat number 7 plays in Sochi a lot. Moved to Sochi in 2012
Wow.
to play tournaments.
So out of Moldova into Sochi.
Yep.
Do you know if he played like the EPTs over there?
He plays.
I think he plays mostly online because
Alright.
we couldn't
Yeah.
find a Handemab profile on him, and his bio is about his big online scores.
Okay.
So he
Yeah.
has some results there.
His big online. His biggest online wins 25k.
Yeah, that's decent.
Qualified online on 32 red.
Where's his patch?
Mm.
Nick is not happy.
I don't think this is his first bullet either, and
Yeah.
that has something to do with it.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're not 100% sure that that's actually true because we were told there was only one 32 red qualifier, and that wasn't in his bio column. Qualified on 32 red.
Well, this is the first visit to Malta, and he's competing thanks to qualifying on 32 red. That's his little bio to the final.
Yes.
So
But the other 32 red qualifier didn't have it in, and when I asked how many qualifiers there were on the final table, I was told one.
well,
So something is amiss with the complete circle of information.
I'm going for it.
Okay.
But he does not have the patch, to be fair.
Does not have the patch. That's the only reason why I'm bringing it up.
Final table of the World Series Europe in Sochi 2 years ago in the one drop.
Oh, Sergey
Oh.
checking back flush draw here. It's interesting. And he's definitely not going anywhere just yet.
So 3 million into 5.3 million, so almost 60% sizing.
Yeah, he should go fairly large, double flush board. He doesn't have any of those suits and just holding top pair. Let's
So-
see.
Yeah, we get the call. The river.
What will it be? Will we see a heart? No.
No, 2 of spades.
This will slow down the action.
Yeah, the
At
check
least
won't-
Sergey won't be calling very light here if Steven bets large again. At least that's what we think.
Yeah, let's
He-
see what he goes
He
for.
could have something else in mind. It's hard to read the Viking as well.
Yeah,
Although typically he'd be betting here for value.
it's an easy value bet. However,
But how
There
is
was-
Sergey going to interpret the bet?
yeah, and there was double flush board. Some straights missed, so could see him check sometimes, inducing Sergey to bluff at it. But yeah, mainly going for value with his top pair. It seems fine. Let's see if Sergey wants to call with his pair of fives. Like, if you see that Sergey have a pair, then you think it's good, but without pair,
Discipline.
mainly
fold.
wanna
Yep,
We
control
see,
fold.
check.
we see the cards, but then we know he's right.
Yeah.
Some players may be tempted to hero fold when they see when they see the stack that Steven has, and they know that he could just be pushing them around. But
yeah.
the blinds have gone up, and Steven's under 100 big blinds, so he's maybe just needs 2 more to get that back over.
Does anybody stop the Zadelov train? It is chewing towards the trophy.
Yeah, he's just everything he does is impressing. right?
Everything he's doing. When he gets the cards, he seems to be getting paid off as well.
Yeah,
But he's also playing great poker. It's great to watch.
definitely.
And Jason, 3 or 4 days ago, says watch out for this fella because he was begging for him to come onto the table, and now we know why.
Yeah,
And I even stated that it was like day 1, and we're looking at the. It was day 2 because we just got the payout, so we're looking at how top heavy it was, and we said, Tower and I were thinking that there's no way that there's not going to be a deal, and I said, well, here's a list of players that may not want to make a deal, and he was top on the list.
Mhm.
Yeah. You remember, like, when I told you on Twitch, look at this table we have now. It
Yes.
was with him. I said, this might be the sickest table of the whole week.
That was in the turbo fight. So he qualified on the
Wha-
turbo fight.
No, it was at the... No, it was at the stream in Twitch.
It was, I think, when we went off stream though.
No, but you spoke to me
Ah, okay.
when I wrote it on Twitch. And I said, he is here. Ludo just left.
Ah,
And,
yes.
we had John Hesp, and I said, yeah, it's sick table. Steven is there.
Do you fancy getting a jacket like that? The John Hesp jacket?
I love it.
I wore the John Hespeth jacket.
You
There's a
did the
picture of
first
it.
day. You took it off his back.
No, it was almost like I was forced. He has such like a strong handshake. And he's like, Jason, come over here. Will's gonna take a picture of us. And I'm like, that's cool. I wouldn't mind the picture of you, John. And we took a picture. And he's like, yeah, but now you have to wear my jacket, and I'll wear your hat, and you'll wear my hat. I'm like, well, that's a little weird, but I do like your jacket, and we went ahead. But he is such a nice guy.
Have you been
Spent
at the
a bit of
tables
time
with him,
talking
John?
to him?
Did you play on the same table?
No, I never
Oh,
played
right.
with him, actually. No.
He is such a nice guy, though.
He's great for the game.
Definitely.
I do love my conversations with him every
Yeah.
time I see him.
He even did a little Facebook message this morning as he was leaving for the airport. So,
Yeah,
to say how good it was.
He's a huge character for
Yeah.
poker.
Absolutely.
He loves people, and it's apparent, and he loves the game.
Yeah.
It was one of the best things to happen to poker that he made the final table a couple of years back on the WSOP main event.
Yeah, that
We
was,
need more players like him in poker. It doesn't mean you should try to be like him if that's not you. That's not what I'm talking about, but it's good for the game.
And you know
in
what you've been
general to
saying
have
all week
players
as well?
like John.
You know what you've been saying all week as well? Make poker fun.
Make poker great again.
Yep.
Shout out to Maurits and the Swedish grassroots community.
Oi, oi.
That all comes from those guys. I actually wore the Swedish grassroots out when I was last in London.
Mm.
And Chris De Silva, who's on the high roller final table, took a look at it, just started cracking up and couldn't stop. But it gets mixed reactions from players. It's not a political statement. It's just meant for fun. So that's the only thing that people should realize.
So, good afternoon, Chatbox on Twitch. 1,507 of you watching the live stream here from Malta as we are down to the final 3.
And that's on Twitch alone, right?
That's on Twitch alone, yeah.
And there's 2 places on Twitch it is. So this is we probably can double this number, and we probably have 3,000 viewers throughout the different platforms.
Yeah. It's on Facebook
We're on
as
YouTube,
well, right?
YouTube in 2 spots, Facebook on 3 spots, that we know of, and on the Battle of Malta website. So it's in a lot of different places, but we are paying attention to the Twitch channel as we have been all week long. We feel like you guys are part of our family. I think Toward's going to adopt me after the festival. I may be moving into his basement. Sorry, Yorgita. Sorry, Lucas. I have a new home. Can I bring my family if you adopt me?
Bring them across.
Yeah, okay, then we're okay.
Bring them all over.
You're not allergic to dogs or kids, are you?
No,
Okay, that's good.
no. Yeah, as long as the kids are quiet and the dogs don't bark, we're all right.
I can't guarantee either of those things, in fact.
The Mini Rounders Missions Tournament has been cancelled. I'm guessing that's on the MPN PT or the MPN websites. Is it a free buy tonight, Jason?
There is a free buy tonight. It is on MPN on a lot of the partner sites.
Mhm.
There is a command for that, which I'm sure our mods will put in. And the password for that is Madrid 2020. It is a 2,500 guaranteed free buy.
Beautiful.
Top prize is a €1,500 package to the MPN PT Madrid, the grand finale, the last one on the tour. MPN will be closing its doors fairly soon,
Yeah.
within the next 6 months, so this will be the last hurrah. But I've been on so many of these stops. The tour is fantastic and normally something special, Poker Vacation to Remember. And they said, we had Alex Scott in here, and Alex said this is going to be the most special one, that they're really putting a budget into this one and expect the unexpected at the next MPN PT.
One Chris De Silva. There's only one Chris De Silva. He's only gone and won it.
He won.
He's
Yeah,
only
looks
got
like.
the trophy in his hand.
Let's get Chris over here. Can we get Chris over here?
I don't know.
After
the
his
man.
pictures and his fame,
Look at that. What a trophy, by the
we
way.
need to
Looks
get
lovely.
Chris in the booth for a short period
Yeah.
of time.
I don't know.
Such a hero.
Crushers will crush.
Okay, I'll go and grab him.
Yeah, John is going to see. Thank you, John.
Crushers
second.
will crush.
If not, we will have John back, which we probably will anyway. We don't know how long Chris wants to be in here. He's had a
Fabulous.
long 3 days grinding out for that trophy.
Well done, that man.
Beast. And I love the song that you had there. Were you like preparing for it? What song I'm going to use when Chris wins, or that just comes spontaneously?
That just absolutely spontaneous, straight out of. I don't know where it came from. But, oh man.
And Sylvia Hewitt in the chat. Hello,
Hey,
Sylvia.
Slinky. That's her online name, by the way. Not
Slinky?
it's not a love.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
No, it's
I got a
not.
little bit concerned there, Tower.
It's not.
You didn't tell me you had a love interest.
Slinky's her online name. It wasn't her. It wasn't any. I started anything untoward with Sylvia, but she is from my hometown. She's a top girl. Aye. Good to have
We
her
have
on board.
many common friends, Sylvia and I. I don't think we've had the chance actually to sit down and have a proper conversation, but maybe one of the times I'm in London, that will happen. We have John coming back, maybe with some news, whether Chris will be joining us at some point when he's taken his pictures, gotten his 5.5s, collected his big first place prize. How much did he win, Tower? I think it was over 70,000.
73,000 euros.
He actually didn't win.
Oh, he didn't win.
Oh, I thought he had the trophy in
the-
his hand.
Yeah.
Did he not have the trophy in his hand?
No, they were just celebrating because they are heads up now.
Oh.
The third guy busted.
He's,
So we were a bit early there.
So
Oh.
he's heads up.
Yeah, he's heads up.
Okay, you
He
can still
got,
sing for the heads up.
Yeah, he got 5.3 million. Other guy have 2.7, I think
Okay.
it was.
So it
So
was
2 to
premature,
1,
but
triplet almost.
he
so
is the odds on
he
favorite.
picked the trophy up and took a picture with it.
I don't know
Premature.
what they're doing.
You-
over there.
Premature.
Well, we hope we didn't jinx it here in the chat.
Good luck to him.
Yeah.
We don't know who he's facing off against. I can't see anything beyond this giant screen that they have in front of us. So
Mhm.
Yeah, they basically just took break after the third guy busted. So
maybe
Yeah.
they're talking a deal.
I don't know. They just took a break and they will come back after battling heads up. So good luck to him.
Well, welcome back, John. Thanks for checking out the situation from us. We have our own reporter in the commentating booth, John. Not afraid to step out and see what's happening.
Definitely
Thanks for
not.
that, John.
No worries, no worries. Any action?
No,
No.
other than you missed Tower singing, maybe.
Yeah.
What can you do?
It's not called missing. It's like
that was all thankful.
yeah, exactly.
I enjoyed it, Tower.
That was thankfully. So we are three-handed. As you can see, the left-hand stack is enormous. Absolutely enormous. It's the stack of Steven van Zadloff. It is about 70% of the chips in play at this moment in time. The green chips are the 100Ks and the orange ones are the 25Ks. There's 160.
The green ones are 250Ks.
Oh, sorry. 250s, 100. That's right, yep. 250s and 100. Well, we thought we might have got the...
Tower was rewinding to day
Oh.
number
It's because
three?
it's because I want to do it all again.
Yes.
We want to do it all again.
How amazing would that be? We just run another Battle of Malta, impromptu Battle of Malta next week. We're going nowhere.
Yeah, double income weight.
No, but the amount of planning that they put into this event, they're already starting the planning, starting probably tomorrow for
Some-
Battle of Malta 2020. It takes so much planning. They paid attention to
The
a lot
amount,
of details.
the amount of staff, the amount of dealers, the floor staff. They've run an impeccable tournament, and it's just seems on our side to have run really, really smoothly. We've not been really involved with the floor, but we haven't heard that many noises and shouts of complaints or anything,
No.
which is good.
And shout out to Tully and Diane for
Yeah.
being on the top of that. And then JP and his team running a very good show. Nick O'Hara was here.
Yep. Yeah, it's been an excellent.
A lot of the international floor staffs, in fact.
been an excellent event.
Sebastian as well from Barcelona.
All of the dealer coordinators, everybody involved with making sure there's enough staff for all the events. Just awesome. Well done, one and all.
So we've gone back to the limp call strategies once again. Sergey limping from the small blind. Doesn't really flop anything, but taking a stab at it. This kind of flop hits both players' ranges, I would say. It's not like one over the other. If there were more high cards, I would say would hit Sergey's limping the small blind range a little better.
He's betting a bit bigger than normally in a limp pot.
So Steven could think he's good, but folds.
Yeah, I think like if he bets one big, that's pretty standard. Steven would peel one off with the backdoors, but one over.
Craigie asking about the registration process. Well, first, the number of entrants was so much more. It was 3,816 last year, and this year it was nearly 4,700, so nearly an increase of 900 entries. There was nobody ever waiting on lines. I mean, we can ask John about this as well because he was a player. It wasn't like last year where players would be waiting on lines, and even the fact that so many people were eliminated early on in the main event. I mean, you expect lines if you want to get your cash out immediately because we had like 150, 200 players eliminated, snap, and there was a bit of a line, but that line got processed so fast. I didn't hear anybody complaining about it. Any issues on your end as a player, John?
No, this year have been so good. Like the logistic, everything. The queues have been small. I haven't heard much complaining at all.
They really paid attention to what the players said last year about it's a
Definitely.
great festival, but these things can be a little bit better, and those things got to be a lot better. Sergey with the snowman from the button, just
limp.
calling.
Whoa.
So we're seeing that by all players, so that's going to slow things down if we're not seeing players raise.
Like I like that he just calls here because of ICM. Just Joseph doesn't have that many chips, 11 million. So yeah, Sergey should never raise here. It's just Steven can put so much pressure on him here.
Is that all in?
It's all in by Joseph.
Wow.
Ace
And he
nine.
underwrapped his hand here.
Wow.
So he might
Ace
call it
nine.
off.
Sergey's got a chance to get a double up here if he makes the call with a snowman.
That is a big shove.
Have we seen quad eights this week?
We have not seen quad eights
Wow.
this week.
Quad eights
I
up.
have.
John has.
Yes, on my table, and I said, this is Triple H sponsored. Where's the...
Oh, we get a prize.
Oh.
We have a call, folks.
Whoa, we have the call with the ace nine.
He reshoves.
No, the
eights.
eight's called.
So the ace nine shoved, the eights have called. The all-in player is Joseph with his 12 million. He has been one of the chips leaders for weeks and weeks in this event. Every time you look at the chip stacks, he was up the top, but he is now all in with ace nine, and he needs to hit because Sergei has him covered with the snowmen.
Wow.
I really like Sergey's play here. Let's see.
7,
Snowmen are still ahead.
10, 5.
Yeah, just 5 outs.
Joseph needs some help.
We saw Steven falling one of the nines, so let's see.
He has some runner possibilities as well. Oh, there's
We
one.
hit
Of
ace.
the outs.
We have hit the ace. Now he needs to fade an 8. Rolls reversals, and we get a double up.
Whoa!
What's happened there? Oh, the
Wow.
crowd have gone nuts.
That's sick.
That is so sick.
It drops down to about 5%. Boom on the river for
Crazy.
Sergei. Wow. Joseph, 102,000 euros. It's been awesome having you on our live stream
Wowzers.
all week. But now, them stacks means we are heads up for the title.
And you know what? Now we'll see if they will be playing for 150,000 euro heads up because second is guaranteed 158,000 €308,130 euro, and first place €306,205 euro. Most players at this point would say, I don't want to play 150,000 heads up. Let's talk a deal. But not every player is Steven van Zadelhoff, who may decide otherwise. I'm sure he'd be happy to look at numbers if it's proposed, but I don't think he necessarily needs to. He has most of the chips in play as well.
We'll let you know if anything happens, but we're on a short break as they set up the final table. 4 heads up. Sergei Lisi from Moldova against Steven van Zadelhoff, who lives here in Malta, originally from the Netherlands. We'll be back with you when the clock strikes 0.
ocean, empty notions. Like a roaring ocean, slowing motion. Lay down your troubled mind. We are only kind and will kindly cease to
Emphasize impact, in fact. Emphasize impact, in fact, girl, you know I like that. Emphasize impact, in fact, girl, you know I like that. Emphasize impact, in fact, girl, you know I like that. Emphasize impact, emphasize impact, girl, you know I like that.
Hello, hello, hello. We are back. It is Jason Glatzer, a.k.a. Jackson Poker, here with the legendary The Tower, Philip Heald. And we are heads up, folks. Steven Van Zadelhoff has a 2-1 chip advantage. As far as we know, there has been no deal discussed, so it is a 150,000 euro heads up battle with 158,000 locked up by second place and 306,000 and change heading to the winner. This should be an exciting heads up match. And during our break, what were we doing, Tower?
We were railing. We were railing and shouting and cheering and whooping and hollowing, and I'm guessing in about 20 minutes' time you'll hear it.
You'll hear it.
But
Do we want to give the spoiler?
we are going to give the spoiler out that Chris De Silva has been crushing it for a couple of years. He has turned up and turned his short stack in the high roller into a trophy and 73,000 euros.
And we got some backstory there. So apparently what happened is Chris played a satellite as expected. A lot of the players will. It was a 150 euro satellite on day 2. Then he started the day with a 15 big blind stack after qualifying for 150 euros. And what do we know? He goes on and ships the lot. Look at those trophies.
Oh, suitcase. Sorry, sir, you are above the excessive baggage.
And here joining us once again is the one and only Fraser McIntyre. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure to be here as always.
Evening,
with both of you
Fraser.
fine gentlemen.
Evening, Fraser.
Good evening.
And
How
let's
are
get
you?
ready for the heads-up battle. The cards are now in the air.
This is fantastic. I'm delighted to see these guys here fighting out for mega cash.
It's Holland against Moldova for the Battle of Malta trophy. The trophy will not be staying home this year. It will be heading to one of these countries. Actually, it will be staying home if Steven wins it in a way, because even though he is Dutch, he lives here locally in Malta. So if he wins, it does stay home. And we do have a limped pot pre-flop and fairly safe flop for Sergey to potentially bet if he so chooses.
Yeah, you made a good point there, Jason, actually, that depending on who wins, we might not have this issue with having a trophy on the flight at all.
Yes. It won't have to go very far for Steven. Sergey, though, lives in Sochi, we learned, and
Yep.
then the
Ah.
trophy will have to take a bit of a flight.
That's all right. 'Cause if Stephen wins it, he can walk home with it.
Yes.
That's the point, yeah.
He's
that's
less
what
than
I'm
10
saying.
minutes away, apparently.
So Sergey's from Sochi, is he?
He's from Moldova, but lives
He
in
lives
Sochi.
in Sochi, yeah. Well, I was in Sochi just in, where was that?
The final
A
table, the
month
mini
ago?
one drop
Ah,
in the World
fantastic.
Series Poker Europe in Sochi.
Fantastic.
But it went check on the flop here, and there was a bet by Steven on the turn, repping that maybe he has the ace. Unfortunately, Steven might not be limping with that many aces or completing the action with a lot of aces. It would be more in the buttons range. But let's see if Sergey thinks that he's either calling for value or wants to reevaluate on the turn. He gives up on the hand, though. Well done,
Yeah.
Steven.
I think the board's just too tricky for Sergey to play there, and if Steven's going to be applying maximum pressure, you don't want to be giving him opportunities to take chips off you cheaply when he could certainly have an 8 or 6.
Some
in
sad
his
news.
range.
Some sad news. There's no million chips in play.
Hmm.
Boo!
On the other
I
hand-
wanted to see them. I wanted to see the big oversized chips.
Yeah, you wanted the plaques, but I love seeing the mountains.
Plaques would be good, actually.
Plaques would
That
be
plaques would be
awesome. There's a
amazing for a final table.
There's
wouldn't it?
116 million chips in play, so the plaques would have been awesome.
Pretty chunky.
On the other hand, I'm happy to see the big mountains of chips. So
Yeah. No, it is good to see, but the million plaques would have been awesome.
and I'm happy only to see 2 colors of chips. That's what I prefer.
It does
at
make
this
life
point.
simple at this point in time
Yes.
certainly for the commentators. What's he done?
He's just lifted up the rail to get his card back.
Yes, we've seen
oh.
we've seen the occasional experience of that this week, haven't we? Yeah.
There's an ace. Oh, there's another one.
This looks like a raise from the button with the 10-6 offsuit.
Yeah.
So Steven is here to play as expected. And quite a big raise, so 2.1 million.
I think Sergey's just going to call here.
A 2.5x raise. And Fraser spot on. Getting into Sergey's head. Makes the call.
I think he's got a nice enough hand here to see a flop with, albeit he's going to be out of position, but
This would be a flop I would expect Steven to continue when he opened from the button, but we have to see what Sergey does first. It's hard to know what Steven will do actually at any time because his level of thinking in the game is on a completely different level than most players.
it's a good board to see bet for him. He'll just go something pretty small, I would expect.
He does indeed. 1.5 million into a pot of around 5 million. And Sergey is giving the stare down. He's reaching for chips, it looks like. He is ahead, but I'm not sure if he realizes this.
I don't think he's going to get involved again here. There's no need out of position. Albeit this is a board that Steven rarely connects with. He can be dealt hands. Well, he's definitely reaching again. He did look down and check his chips out before folding on the previous board. So
It does make the
Yeah.
call, and we're on to the turn. No, it didn't make the call. The chips are being collected. And we're on to the next hand. And we're being
Yeah.
asked if we know anything about...
he made a raise. He raised. He
Oh, he
raised
raised
and
it.
collected. Yeah, he raised and so.
The graphics a little behind, but it's good we have Fraser here seeing what's happening.
Confirmed. There is no deal.
No deal.
Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me greatly, to be honest. I think it's. I think there's a great amount of money to play here. Steven has the chip lead at this point in time. He's going to be quite happy to take advantage of that and use it to apply maximum pressure to Sergey.
Yeah.
But Sergey, in that last hand, is showing that he's going to be quite happy to fight back, and this won't be an easy coast home to victory for either player.
And we're being asked if we have any information about Sergey Lisi, and we couldn't find necessarily any live results. He was interviewed by the blogging team and by Laura Cornelius as well. And what we did learn is at least he is from Moldova. He is an online player that has had some scores there, including a tournament cash of 25,000. We can assume that this is his biggest stage by far, but we don't have that much more information. Tower might have more information, though. He's raising his hand.
He doesn't have 3 eyes at the end of his name.
Oh, he
only has
doesn't.
2.
2 eyes.
So there's been a bit of a
Controversy.
bit of misspelling for the last 4 days because I made light of it. So there was he had 3. It's Lisii, Sergey Lisi. So, but in the blog it was 3 eyes for 3 days. So
And he's been near the top of the chip count for those last 3 days. He's had the lead actually at times for hours and hours at a time.
came into the final table with 14,400,000. And he's now heads up for the title.
And we have a raise by Sergey with the suited connectors and Steven defending with the Queen 6. We see a diamond out the window, but that's the only one there is, and it's a King 5 Jack board with 2 spades. Backdoor diamond flush draw, gut shot for Sergey. Steven didn't really hit any of that flop, but that might not matter. He still might be able to take down the pot. But it's a check by Steven. Sergey reaching for chips. I wouldn't mind seeing a bet from him. He did raise pre-flop. This is a board where it would hit him.
He should be continuing here, 1.4, something like that.
I'd like
maybe.
to see what he's betting.
1.4 and snapful by Steven.
It's a fantastic shot of the player, but it'd be nice to see him just putting in the chips at the same time, so we can work out what he was.
Now, the one thing we have to recognize is that we've seen players open and we can determine their ranges. Now it's going to be a lot more harder because players should be opening far, far wider from the button when it's heads up. Position means everything heads up, so I should maybe cool it down with the ranges because there is really no ranges for either player at this point. You should be defending wide as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you have to.
Oh, no. Donna Emanuel, what is she doing?
Oh yes. Can we yes, let's commentate with helium balloons
Oh,
inside
no.
us.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, wait.
Uh-oh. It's going to go a bit wrong. I'll pass this over to Jason.
Oh, no.
Yeah, 'cause
I was
really
hoping you
feel-
were going to
yes.
take it.
No, I'm not partaking of the helium
So
challenge.
can you tell me how many chips Stephen's got, please?
You haven't even taken the helium yet.
Don't spoil it.
Oh.
Oh, you're not supposed to spoil it.
Oh, Fraser
no.
gets
got
one.
one each.
Got one. No.
You got one each.
God.
Oh, we're making Donna happy.
This will be the
then.
best commentary ever.
But hold on a second,
Hold
because
on a minute.
we have
Hold on.
Stephen raising the button here with a 6-3.
Hello, man. How you doing?
We have Sergey here, likely to defend or 3-bet.
Oh.
Yes.
Can he come in for it? He can come in for an hour. Oh, my balloon.
Careful. Watch
Oh.
your balloons, mate.
Incoming is Mr. Chris De Silva. Let me tell you, this. Oh, sorry, sir. Your suitcase is too heavy.
Look at this. He's coming in here with a trophy and everything. Fantastic.
But we do have a hand here, folks. We have Sergey defending with the King 8. So we'll have Chris in a second, but let's go through this hand. Sergey flopping middle pair. Stephen can rep anything he wants to rep because he is the Dutch Viking. Let's see how this plays out. We will have Chris in after this
yeah,
hand.
in essence, this should go check, bet, call. But I wouldn't be at all surprised if after checking his cards like that, I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen smells something here and checks behind. Yeah, there you go. It's
So check. And Sergey will almost definitely be betting now, but let's see. Try to get a little value from his hand. Oh, unfortunately, he's not being called by too much less if he does bet, so that puts him in a tricky spot on the river out of position, so maybe he will check.
I think he checks again here. Stephen may take this as an invitation, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's just smelt something that was in. No, he's going to accept the invitation to have a bet. Sergey did just kind of look back at his cards post-flop, which I hadn't seen him do in previous hands.
No. And I think he is reaching to call, which he quickly does. Quickly, based on how Sergey's
And
typically been acting.
I mean, that's pretty much the end of the size of this pot.
Oh, look at this. Sergey with the check mark, with the full house. Will he try to get value by betting? He won't get it if he bets because Stephen only has 6-3.
Yep.
I think Stephen's done with this hand as well,
He
though.
is. If Sergey checks, it checks behind. If he bets, Stephen folds. The pot is finished.
What are you going to do, Sergey? Looks like he's going to bet, try to get the value.
He's quite right doing this because, in essence, this can look like an attempted bluff. Missed flush draw, something of that ilk, where he's now betting, and he's just hoping that Stephen has something,
Or the
king
nine
high or
tens
something
the
that he
six
can
nines
even
might
call
bet
with.
here.
Yep. But we know that it's just going to go bet, snap, fold.
And the
indeed,
stacks
that's
have
what
kind of
happened.
evened up a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's get Chris in here for a little bit. He must be feeling pretty high.
Well, he will be after he takes the helium out of this balloon.
Yeah, so far nobody's had the balls to do the helium out of the balloon.
Yeah, that squeaking you heard earlier was just Tower.
Tower's going to take one for the team. He'll be back very soon. And here with us is the one and only Chris De Silva. Congratulations, Chris, on winning the High Roller, and welcome to the comms booth.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
well done, sir. Fantastic. What a result.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over the moon. And he actually, you managed to, we bumped into each other. We were sitting a table apart last night in the high roller.
Yeah. well,
And we did say, said, right, okay, well, one of us will just win this, and then we can go out for drinks afterwards.
Absolutely.
So it looks like that's what's going to happen.
great.
But you spun it up by winning a satellite yesterday. Yeah. Oh, hold on. We're getting a picture taken here. So,
We've got selfies and all.
yay!
Awesome.
Photo
Awesome, thank you. Oh, there's that balloon's
the
gone.
balloon's gone. That's good.
Okay, so yeah, you spun it up from a satellite yesterday into the high roller,
Yeah.
which is awesome in the first place, and then from there, jumped in, and by the time the satellite was complete, you had like 15 bigs or something going into the start of the event.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna buy into day 2 regardless.
And yeah, of course.
But then I couldn't sleep, so I just decided I need to play something as a
Yeah.
DJ. So I
Last minute decision.
jumped into the high roller satellite. Got a seat. They had 21 seats. Amazing satellite, really, considering there was no guarantee.
Yeah.
And then super late raced day 2 just before end of registration. So like 15 big lines in.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I guess ran good and yeah, played. I guess I won't take too much credit. Played okay and ran pretty good.
I suspect you must have played more than just okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
You've come away with.
It was a reg heavy
Seven-
field, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean the field was pretty decent all
Absolutely.
round, I would say.
Pretty tough field, yeah.
And you know, to walk away with 73 bags and a lovely trophy, a nice shiny trophy there, then not a bad week's work.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah,
Certainly
well
one of the
played,
brighter
sir.
days.
And the last time I saw you, Chris, you were on another final table. It seems like every time I see you, you're on a final table. It was like at the MPMPT in London.
Yeah, praise God. Yeah, hope it keeps going that way. Unfortunately, in London, I wasn't able to take it home. Had some interesting hands, which I've reviewed with myself multiple times, but had to go better this time. Can't afford to keep getting into FTs and leaving money behind, which is ultimately what you're doing without taking a win, because all the money is at the top, really, with these tournaments. So, yeah, it was good. Really, really chuffed. Really happy to take this one down.
Did you make a deal?
No deal.
No deal
Let's
as
play that
well.
heads up, yeah.
And there's
Which
no
is
deal
similar
here.
here. Yeah, there's no deal in the main
No
event
deal.
either.
They're
Yeah,
playing
well,
for 150,000 euros now.
Well, I don't
between
expect
second and
Steven to
first.
take any deals. He's an absolute animal of a game. So yeah,
Have you
let's
played
see how it
against
goes.
him?
I've played against him a couple of times across the pond and in Europe as well. Yeah, of course. Very solid player. His resume speaks for itself. What's going on in this? Who's got all the chips?
It's evened up. Steven has started. Steven still has the lead, but he had a 2-1 edge to start off, and Sergey Lisi has chipped away a little bit, but
Right.
it's very early on in the heads up. When we were watching you, they were setting up the table and
Mhm.
all that.
Right.
So we got to see you win. That was very nice in real
Excellent.
time.
Right.
And we'll see. I expect it not to be a very quick heads-up battle with both players having decent stacks. Blinds are at 400,000, 800,000.
right.
So it's not a case
Wow.
of
Yeah, pretty deep.
expecting to see a monster 100 million chip pot.
And they're
unless
both
it's a core.
playing very well from what we can see so far. Both players, and you know, they clearly know how to negotiate this situation, don't they?
Yes, both with different gears, unpredictable.
Excellent.
A lot of times when you see players' cards, you know how they're going to behave.
Yeah, that helps.
And Steven is not one of those players. He could be limping at some times with some cards. He could be 3xing at times with other cards or anything in between. Deciding how he plays the flop is kind of not always the same as well. It's really hard to put him on a hand. I mean, we can put him on a hand because we see his cards, but I can't imagine it's very easy for Sergey to put him on a range of hands or a specific hand.
And to be
Right.
fair, Sergey has done really good job of fighting back and making sure that
That's good.
he's not going to be taken
Pushed
advantage of or pushed around very
Right.
easily. And that's just in the first few hands that we've seen.
Right.
He's definitely going to make a stance. And
I'm sorry to
I-
ask you questions you've probably gone over, but what's Sergey's resume like? Has he been in heads-up situations like this?
We're not
before?
sure because we couldn't find any live performance of him, but our team
Okay.
did interview him before we went live with the final table. We did learn that he lives in Moldova and moved to Sochi to play more poker.
Right.
because there's a good poker scene down in Sochi, and that he has had some results online. He has his
Awesome.
biggest win online was for 25,000. So he's
Excellent.
looked calm, cool, and collected the entire way. So I
Right.
imagine he's been on final tables before, but I imagine this is his biggest spot. Where for
Excellent.
Stephen, this is a huge win for him, but online he's had bigger spots. I wouldn't say it's just another tournament for him. For this, this is not only the money; it's the fact that he lives in
He
Malta.
lives in Malta,
It
yeah.
means quite a lot to him if he
Yeah.
wins this trophy.
Absolutely. Should be fun. Well, they're both
Oh,
pretty
we did
deep.
find Sergey now because we had a misspelling of his name before.
That's right. That's why. Yeah. So we've got Sergey there, and his
24,000 in cashes, so he has had some live results before.
no, he's got
55.
55. But his best live cash is $24,000. So this is
new information.
Huge event for him. His biggest ever cash live.
All of them in Europe.
Yeah, yeah. He does a
Probably in Sochi, most of them.
A lot in
There looks a little in Czech
yeah,
Republic, some in Moldova. So all around.
yeah, Prague, Rozvadov. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. He got 7th in the little one for one drop event in the WSOPE in Rozvadov 2 years ago.
That was his
That
biggest
was his
win.
biggest win. Yep. So
And he's had big wins online as well.
yeah.
Awesome.
But he looks very assured and comfortable there, as you can see from the screen at the moment. He certainly doesn't seem to be overawed by the occasion at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a huge payday for both of them. I mean, considering the buy-in at 550 buy-in, really, it's pretty incredible what MPN have done here. And this event just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, I mean the event is fantastic in my eyes. And what's your experience been of it? How have you enjoyed your week? Apart from playing well and running well. in
Well,
the high roller?
I've had quite a good week, to be honest. It's one of the better weeks, regardless of the high roller. One of the good things about Malta is, I mean, as a professional poker player, you can't do too much money here because of the size of the buy-ins, right? I mean, some people
Yeah.
do end up firing multiple times.
There was a
Yep, yep.
5,300 euro event earlier, though. So if you're
Oh,
firing
yeah.
multiple bullets in that, then it can get
that would be
expensive.
painful, yeah. For
But
people
beyond
were
that-
earlier enough. Should we just cover this hand before we keep blabbering?
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure, because there is some action. Stephen raising 2.5x,
With premium on the button.
Yeah.
and Sergey defending with a defendable hand, I would say. A hand that can flop well heads up.
Absolutely. Let's see if that.
And Stephen with top pair. He's going to try to get value at some point in this hand. Let's see if he can. It's going to be tough with Sergey whiffing with the Jack-9, has some backdoor outs.
I think you might find Sergey getting a little bit sticky here. I don't think he's going to be folding to a one bet situation here. He's got 2 overcards to the rest of the board.
But has
And
no
he'll
hearts in his hand.
Yeah, I think he'll feel quite comfortable taking a turn card
Yeah, Steven's gonna
because he
open.
has got backdoor straight options. And
Yeah, indeed.
We're about to find out. I think fold. Fraser thinks call.
2.8 is
Chris, I
quite a
think,
big
feels
bet,
call.
actually. I think if it was 1.4, 1.5, which has been the standard bet into that pot size, I think he just flats. When it's 2.8
Into about 5.
into 5, that's a big bet from Stephen in this spot.
He
Yeah, I
looks
think
down.
It's
He's-
too big to float.
Yeah. So strange. It's quite a change
Putting-
in strategy actually from Stephen, because he's been
He's been mixing it up. We've seen even 60, 70% as well. And I agree with
Yeah.
Sergey. Floating out of position is not the easiest thing to do against anyone, let alone the Dutch Viking over here.
yep.
Yeah, that's a good win. Well, I mean, I expect Steven to open quite a lot of hands, especially with the chip lead in position. So, you know, I'm a bit surprised he's gone for such a big size. I'm surprised he didn't go for a bit smaller to keep his opponent in the hand.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I
I don't know if he was
he's
trying to make it look a bit
Right.
like
Like he's pushing him
a
around.
bit, yeah, a little bit bullyish.
87 big blinds to 58. This heads up could go on for quite a while.
Yeah.
Very deep. This could go on for quite a while.
Or it could be over next hand
Yeah.
if we see like aces versus kings
yeah, you
and
get that cooler
all the
spot,
chips in
it's
the middle.
done. Yeah. Don't tell the media team that they could be here for most of the night.
I wouldn't mind being here all night. My flight's not till about 10:30 in the morning tomorrow. I can keep going.
Well, it's not about that. It's about the fact that I promised to buy them a few drinks after the event finished. So they're quite keen to get out and do that.
Yes.
It's a beautiful city.
Yeah,
You can have
it's-
drinks anywhere. This is one of the better places.
It's
to
great
do
fun, isn't it? Yeah,
Sure.
the area is fantastic.
So Sergey now with the ace, albeit the 6 isn't as good as the 10 that we saw Steven having. Steven opting to defend. It was just a limp, so Sergey with a slightly different strategy with his ace, although it's a weaker ace. Maybe with an ace 10 he's raising. But it's a disguised ace.
Hmm.
And we have a flop that hits Steven quite well.
Yeah,
Second pair.
absolutely. I expect it to go check, really.
Donna's going to be so angry with us for not doing the helium.
Dana is not. Yeah, she's not going to be happy.
No.
We'll pretend
balloons
we-
are on the ceiling.
Yeah, it's a dead giveaway that we didn't do it.
What's the hero?
She wanted us to bite open the helium balloons and then inhale some and do a little bit of commentary afterwards
Tower
Oh.
pretended.
with squeaky.
That would
Squeaky
be quite
voice.
nice.
Look at this turn,
Oh,
folks.
wow.
Oh wow!
Check mark over to Steven. Trips.
Wow.
And
Okay.
Steven checking it again. And Sergey, it would be tough for him to bet here. He has showdown value. Maybe he would be trying to. Maybe he thinks he's ahead and wants to bet players out from seeing the river. He wouldn't be betting really for value, though,
He's
obviously.
gonna go for
He's
some
got-
value.
Yeah, he's got.
Maybe from some king
is that-
high
what's that-
hands.
Is that 2 million he's stuck in?
1
No,
million.
1 million,
It's
sorry.
a small little bit, about 40% of the pot. And
Always
Steven,
interesting in
with
the limp
the stare, we could see what he's seeing, which is always what I like. So he's looking down at his chips.
What a beard! Look at the beard on this man.
Yeah.
You
That
have a
was
nice
good.
beard too, Chris.
Not as good as
The
Steven.
beard game is strong there.
We'll take it.
3.5 million the raise, and this is going to get Sergey out of the pot.
Well, it's a limp pot. Steve has all the fives.
He does, but is Sergey really going to accept this at face value? It's too easy for Stephen to represent a 5 here. When it's gone check on the flop as well.
I think some of it depends on
Check.
what information Sergey's been getting from his
For
rail
sure.
during the breaks, because Steven hasn't gotten out of line at all too much. Like percentage-wise, most of the time when he's been check raising, he's had something to check raise with.
That generally sounds good right up until your head's up and the whole dynamic has changed entirely.
That is true as well.
And you're staring across at this well-bearded Viking who just looks as if he's going to try and push you about a whole load when your head's up and has a chip lead and is looking to do it.
Yeah.
The new Avenger.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's happy to potentially peel and reassess river here.
Well, with the
Yeah.
Oh,
with the six
Fraser
of
on top of
hearts-
it.
With the 6 of hearts in his hand, he doesn't. It makes it. That blocks
Yep.
some of the combo draws that Steve's
Yeah.
going to check raise with. So
And an ace is so strong here.
Oh.
So now he's going to.
Wow.
He's now going to pay a price.
Yes, this is going to be costly.
Now, what is Stephen going to go for here? Because in this spot, is he
Five.
going to? He's going to bet
I
big.
go
I
for
think
the
he's
big.
going to
Ooh.
overbet the pot.
This
I would
looks
overbet
like
the pot.
a 9 million and change.
yeah, he
Not
has-
quite an overbet, but it's close to the pot size bet, I believe. But let's see it come up on the screen. 8.6, so
8.6 is
almost
yeah,
a pot
it's
size
good.
bet.
I like it.
And it's going to be very tough for Sergey to get away from this. I mean, the R5s, as we mentioned, in the big blinds range.
There are also hearts. There's also 3/4s.
3/4
There's
gets
yeah,
there.
Yes.
And Steve does have a 3 in his hand.
So maybe he can't get away from it if he thinks it over. He is thinking.
On that river card is very difficult. It's pretty much just going to call. It's a cycle. Like,
I think unfortunately it's a side
Yeah.
call more often than not. Yeah.
Now, what happens if Sergey just decides, I'm going to take over this hand, right? Let's say he goes crazy. We've seen we've seen this happen before. I know it's probably not going to happen,
I
but
would
let's
be
say Sergey
amazed if
bets
he
big.
did. It then puts a bit of pressure on Stephen, but he just side calls in that spot. I think.
It depends if it's like an all-in or something like that. I think you're right, but there's so
Well-
much that beats him.
The problem is Sergei's hand is too good to turn into a bluff here. He has so much showdown
Exactly,
value that
yeah.
he doesn't need to take that line.
That's also true. But Steven very often has a 5 here as well, based on how he was playing on the final table. So there's so many different levels of thinking at this point that we don't know how Sergei's actually thinking. I agree,
think
though, that
Ser-
Sergei's not probably likely going to do
yeah,
it for
Oh,
the
I-
reasons you
Sergei's going to
say.
get away from
Wow,
this.
he
Yeah,
found
I'm
the
sure-
fold.
Yep.
That's
Very
incredible.
nice fold.
The longer he thought about it, the more it made sense that he's not in great shape here.
Amazing fold.
Yeah, it's a great fold, yeah.
The ace of hearts probably makes a difference because the flush gets there as well.
Well done,
Not ideal.
Sergei.
Yeah, fabulous fold.
Nice
Because
hand,
the chip counts are materially altered there if he makes that call.
Yes.
And, you know,
Yeah.
that's massive swing.
It's an interesting hand.
When he watches this back, he'll give himself a good strong pat on the back for that one.
Absolutely, he deserves one. That's a very good fold. It's getting
Someone in the
closer,
chat
2 to
saying the
1.
6 was a good card for a bad blocker for bluffs.
Say again, sorry.
That the 6 was a bad blocker for bluffs. That Steven has
Absolutely.
very few bluffs there.
Absolutely, he doesn't want to have that 6 of hearts in his hand. It makes it less likely that Steve's got the combo draws.
Is 3 high in Steven's range, or could we see our first walk? Nope, he wants to play a hand in position. Doesn't matter what the cards are.
I don't think for a minute that Stephen is going to be offering any walks
No,
today.
no walks today.
Not a single one.
The bank is not open.
No, I do not think that's going to happen.
With a 2 to 1 chip lead, almost a 2 to 1 chip lead, I'll be very, very surprised to see any walks. I mean, heads up, the battle is pretty much won depending on who the aggressor is, and I expect whoever is more aggressive in this to be in a very strong chance to take this down, and I expect that to be Steven, especially with the dominating chip lead that he has right now.
Oh my! Both players hitting a piece of this baby.
This
We
could
have
get interesting.
yeah, we have Sergei with a monster right now, and Steven may think he is good. I mean, if you're going to play 3-2, you're going to kind of like this board. It's about as good a board you can get with 3-2,
Absolutely.
other than it being 3-2-2 instead of 3-5-5. And Sergei with the check.
Sets the trap.
This pot could be huge.
This pot could get pretty creative.
So has he been check raising a lot?
He has before, but I wouldn't say a lot. What he does do with is like he's not really wasting time, but anytime he's faced with like a decision where he could go this way, he could go that way, he goes and thinks about it a little bit, which is natural.
Right.
If we didn't see his whole cards, we'd maybe think that he's actually stalling for time
Right.
or other things, but he's evidently not doing that. And it looks like he's counting out a raise. That looks like $3.5 million and change. Let's see what it really is. And what I like about this heads up, I don't know if it was like that on the high roller, it appears that the big blind ante is sticking around heads up.
Yes.
So a lot of times the ante goes away heads up, or when it's shorthanded it becomes a small blind. But the pots are already bigger than what you might think they should be in this kind of situation.
Absolutely. I think somebody was looking for a little clarification on that in the chat box at the moment, actually. That's why, although the big blind is 800,000, and there's when they call, when the small blind or the button completes, there's 800, 800, and also the 800 ante, which is already in the middle, so it makes 2.4.
So Steven opting to see a turn, calling the raise to 4 million, and Sergei will likely opt to try to get more value, although the diamond is a scare card for him. That would be something Steven would call with, but I think you have to try to get more value in case Steven only has 1 diamond in his hand.
I agree. I think he has to bet here, actually, yeah. He won't like it,
Yeah.
and he certainly wouldn't want to be raised, but it's a good card to help Steven get away from it, because
Absolutely.
Steven's thinking to himself, what is Sergei check raising me with on the flop? There's a high chance that there's some sort of flush draw involved there. Flush draw with overcards.
Yeah, that 9 of diamond is an action killer for
Yeah.
the guy. Steven, can easily get away from this hand now.
Yeah.
But who knows? Let's see. He might decide to get sticky.
stranger things have happened, but I think Stephen will just be too finely tuned into the situation right now to. He won't want to pay off where there are potential big hands.
Let's see what the sizing will be. 5.9,
Yeah.
snap fold by
Snap fold,
Stephen.
Yeah.
We expected a fold there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a diamond. 9 of diamond is an action killer, he said.
And we do appreciate all the viewers that are watching us. And we've had a great chat for the last week. But it seems like things are getting a little bit out of hand now. And it's going to be a little bit too much for our mods. Please show some respect in the chat box. I'm not following what you guys are talking about. And frankly, I don't care because we're heads up right now with 150,000 extra on the line. We have 158,000 locked up with the winner going home with 306,000. Let's focus on this, and that is all.
So a guy wakes up with a pretty good looking hand, Queen Jack offsuit on the button, heads up. Is he gonna up to just complete or start putting some money in the pot?
Yeah, I think we need to put a little shout out of thanks to Donna for her sterling work this week.
And Mick the Mod as well.
Yeah, and Mick, of course, as well. Yeah,
It looks like we're
absolutely.
getting a lot of timeouts here in chat, so I'm not even necessarily going to pay attention to it.
Yeah. It's been a super week here in Malta, actually. So if anybody is in any doubt about anything, then please try and make sure that you get here next year because it is absolutely great fun.
Amazing city.
Yeah, and you know, there's so much going on round about the whole area. There's so many good bars and clubs and restaurants, and there's some great options for every budget. You know, you can go out and have a lot of fun on a cheap night out, or you can go and sample some of the finer tastes and foods and drinks in life. So yeah, make your effort to get here next year.
I hope to be here as well.
Absolutely,
this is my
yeah.
second straight year here.
Yeah.
It's only gonna get bigger and better.
Yes.
And
Although
the event,
where's the space going to go? Like,
Well,
it's a packed house. They're going to
that's a
have to
good
like
question.
get another floor.
We've already been in talks about some other rooms that they might actually be able to make available to us in other parts of the hotel. So this year has been fantastic, having the second room downstairs where they had some of the satellites
And side
and
events.
some of the side events, and that took pressure off of the main tournament area here, which on Saturday and Sunday were just absolutely completely jammed full.
indeed.
And the best part about all of that is that there were no issues with queuing or registration or anything else like that.
It was a lot smoother than last year.
a lot
absolutely. It's getting
smoother.
better and better
Yeah,
every
fabulous.
year.
The guys have
And-
done a great job.
And the events they have going on, there seems to be a number of events. So even when people bust out of tournaments, there are other options for them to jump into on the same day. Which
Yes.
that's always
Yes.
that's always a plus for poker players.
Absolutely, you want to have as many options as you can, and the good thing is, it's as you said earlier, it suits a budget. You
Indeed.
don't have to be coming here looking to play, you know, big events, big buy-in events. There's a lot of money up top in all of these
Yeah,
tournaments.
Absolutely, they get the runners.
Yeah, that you'd be delighted to get. You don't get many opportunities to play for €300,000 euros when you paid 555.
Absolutely not. Certainly not.
It's incredible.
And what's next for you, Chris?
So when I get back to London, there's a platinum pass at the Hippodrome. Pretty much this weekend. So I'll be
At
playing that.
Aspers or in
No, at Hippodrome.
Hippodrome, I'm sorry, yeah.
At the Hippodrome. So PokerStars are moneymaker way to the PCA, it's called, or PSPC, Platinum Pass. Very small buy-in, £120 buy-in, and you can potentially win a 30k package. So I
that's
guess
pretty cool.
a lot of people are going to be in London for that. And after that, maybe I'll start looking at other options. There's another MPN event in Estonia, so that sounds like a pretty attractive option. And
Yeah, the Cool Bit Open. I'll be there for that, so maybe
be
see you there.
there? Excellent.
Yeah, that's like in my backyard.
oh, brilliant! Let's do it. And let's have some drinks there also. So yeah, that's next, and then there's a WPT in Brussels, I believe. So I'll most likely be, trying to knock heads with some of the people over there. And there's quite a lot going on in Europe these days. And of course, the World Series of Poker Europe is going on in Rotterdam right now. So
Which is an
Who
amazing
knows?
testament to how big this is. I mean, you have the World Series of Poker Europe going on, but yet record numbers here. Nearly 4,700 entries in this main event. It is attracting different clientele, but we do see some players that would normally be bracelet hunting coming here and having a good time because it is a true poker holiday coming to the Battle of Malta.
This week has been fantastic because there have been quite a few sort of well-known players and pros who've turned up to have a great time in Malta, have a bit of fun, and play for some big money. I mean, they're playing for prize pools here that they would be paying a lot more in buy-ins for
absolutely.
at other destinations. So it actually does. It pays a great tribute to the success of the event this year, following on from last year. And the good thing is that some of them will probably skip off to Rosvedov and compete for their bracelets now.
well, they
So
can do both.
they can do both. It's super. But it is.
I think that's
generally
you yelling in the background, Chris. You're yelling for
Oh,
3
that's
'cause
right.
you had a
Oh,
pair of threes,
absolutely,
and then you're
threes.
yelling for a 4 to pair the board.
Yeah,
But that's where you won,
that's
right
where-
there.
That's the moment.
So the blinds have gone up. It's now 500,000, 1 million. So it's 2.5 million in the pot before any more chips go in. After this level, we will see a break. It may be a dinner break. It may be a regular break. It's up to the 2 players remaining. I think
Right.
it is a scheduled dinner break, though. I won't be surprised if both players say, let's just take a quickie and come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As a player, you want to try and crack on, keep your
the
momentum. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
I
Yeah.
hope for the sake of the viewers that'll be the case, too, because
That would be nice. Yeah.
a quick break is more optimal than an hour plus long break.
Indeed.
So Stephen tossing in a bunch of chips there. It looks like around 3 million-ish. Let's see. 3.5, so even more. And let's see what Sergey will do. He is on the button. He is in position in the hand. It's not that Steven has done this that often, though. It turns out that if he puts him on a king jack exactly, he may want to call and just see and play post flop, but very often this is something a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I
Steven
think-
hasn't
I
been
think
pushing around.
He'll be quite happy to give this up here. There's no need to get involved, I don't think.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna give it up.
So very disciplined, Sergey. He thinks about his decisions and then comes up and seems to be making the right plays most of the time.
Yeah, his table presence seems to be pretty strong.
Hmm.
He's well in control. His demeanor is very good. Very impressed with him so far.
Yeah, he looks super comfortable there.
Ooh, something is attacking you there, Chris. What is that?
It's a fly.
Oh, I thought you were dancing.
Not yet. Later on, please. Later. A few more drinks.
Tremendous.
And you had a little bit of a crew with you, so did you travel out with a bunch of people out from the UK?
I came out with just one friend, really, but I know quite a lot of people here.
Yeah.
I seem to know a lot of people at most stops that I go to, and then, of course, you meet people. So I had quite a bit of a rail, which always helps. It's good to have a positive energy around you when
Yeah,
you're running.
sure.
You know,
Fraser
when
was
you're
on your
running
rail.
Fraser
I
was
joined the
there.
rail at the very end. That's the last few hands.
So yeah, it's good. It's good. It was a fun moment. Everyone was on the drinks too, so that's always good.
Yeah, thanks for buying those, mate. Much appreciated.
Not to worry, mate.
Yeah.
Least I can do.
Is that why you were on the rail, Fraser?
Well, yeah, I knew that. I knew that at some point in his life, Chris was going to buy a drink, so I thought it's probably likely when.
This is a good time. Good read. Good read.
It was a pretty strong read. Yeah, I think a couple of guys in the chat box actually are asking about the time that Sergei's maybe taking to play some of his hands. I think what you've got to do is be respectful and realise that they're playing for massive money here today. And I think he's perfectly entitled to take a reasonable amount of time over every decision, and indeed he should take a reasonable amount of time over every decision. None of these hands, when you're in a heads-up spot like this, are automatic folds or automatic calls or automatic raises. Every hand is situational depending on how you deem that your opponent's been playing, how your chip stack is in relation to your opponent's chip stack. So you really, to get the best out of this, you do actually have to take the time. And he's got plenty of play in the game. That he's got, got a lot of big blinds to play with.
Absolutely.
But it's essential that he doesn't spew them off by giving them away cheaply. He must take his time and consider every chip a prisoner in this situation.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And if you look at the points where he's actually pausing, it may look like they're forever because of the stream time, but they're not really abnormally long if it was not on the stream. And we can actually see what he has. So it's not like he's doing it with pure crap. He's doing it with cards that he could be considering multiple ways to play the hand. Like in this instance, you have a pair of sixes and Steven opens up the button to 3 million. You could be raising, you're not folding, but you could be calling, you could be 3-betting. If you're 3-betting, how big you want to do it. You may already be thinking about what you're going to do if certain flops come, etc., how you want to play this hand. And you notice he acted quickly, for example, here. This flop was absolutely horrible for him. It's not that he's so playing intentionally. Steven, we know Steven is an online baller with more than 9 million in cashes. He's used to having to make quick decisions with 12 tables going, sometimes with a lot of equity on the line on these decisions. And he's been in a lot of spots where he's played for big money before.
Yes.
So
Every decision is so critical here.
This is an awkward spot for him, I suppose. He's made a very good call, or comfortable call pre-flop, and with his pair of sixes, and obviously you see a board like that and you just want to cry.
Absolutely terrible run out for sixes.
Yep. As it happens, he is still ahead, but the pressure is just going to be on, and he just has to give up every time here because anything else is potentially costly.
Good time to apply some pressure there by Steven.
Yes.
I mean, it helps that he's got the gut shot to go with his hand.
Yeah.
And quite a lot of the times, king high can actually be good there.
Yep,
Heads
for
up.
sure.
So not much movement in the chips. Steven has a little bit more than before, up to 72 million. He doesn't have that 2-to-1 edge he had, but it's pretty close to it actually. You get another 5 million off of Sergei's stack, and it's pretty much a 2-to-1 margin once again. And those of you just tuning in, this is Jason Glatzer. The tower is taking a break so we can get high roller champion Chris Da Silva in the booth. And also here is Main Event Travels Fraser McIntyre, who is our scheduled guest. So glad to have both of you with us, and glad to see the energy, the analysis that you guys are providing to the stream.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having us.
Fraser's certainly my poker hero, so it's an absolute honour to be seated next to him.
Oh, you're too kind, sir. Way too kind.
And it must feel good, man. It must feel good. I mean, it's €150 from a qualifier. I know you've played for big money before, but riding that up, coming in with 15 bigs, you weren't even going to play the tournament, and then taking it home 3 days later. Well, it was 2 days later, but it was a 3-day event for more than 70 grand.
I'll take it.
You seem a little chill about it, but I saw how excited you were before when you won.
Absolutely, I'll take it. It's a good day. Also helps to win my second high roller this year.
Wow, so what else did you win, Chris?
I won, there was Goliath in Coventry. Busted out the main event, jumped into the high roller, and managed to win that one.
What was that for?
That was for 43,000, I believe.
But
which
that
is
was pounds, so it's like
pounds.
44,000
Yeah.
euros in today's money. But back then it was maybe
I
like,
thought it was like 20,000 euros. Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was quite impressive for a 300. I think that was a 330 pound buy-in tournament. So
so this
yeah,
one a
we'll
little bit
certainly
bigger.
take
It
it.
was over €1,000 for the buy-in,
this was
but
1320. Yeah, but yeah, absolutely, we'll take it. One
Yeah.
of the better days.
That's a fantastic day. Fantastic day, mate. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
and I guess both players have showdown value here, so I don't know if we'll see anybody betting. There's no point in Sergey betting either. I
I
mean,
don't
the,
think so,
The jack
no.
high here is pretty good. One
Yep.
check all the way through.
Yep.
So
I see we've been joined in the chat box by Sylvia. Hi, Sylv. Hope you're well. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to make it to Rosvedov.
I gave up on looking at the chat after there was a little
yeah,
bit of
well,
craziness there.
I think
Let's calm down.
in
Can I
general
look again?
you just disregard anybody
Yeah.
that's
I don't like
being
the,
a bit silly, you know.
You know,
but
we're here. The players are competing for 306,000 euros. Let's keep it nice.
yeah,
And
But,
if you have some beefs, take it away from here.
do your own thing.
Yeah.
We're watching a fantastic event, the finale to a fantastic event, and both players are playing fantastically well.
We're pretty much where we were when we started, though.
Yeah,
I mean, Steven has lost chips from where we started, but he's gained back some of the chips that he's lost, and doesn't have that 2-to-1 edge, but it's just about 2-to-1. If Sergey doubles, just basically the spots reverse themselves.
Everything seems to be going Steven's way so far. He's in his comfort zone. He's got the chips. He's got the experience.
he's got the beard.
He's got the beard. He's
I
got the
love
muscles.
the avatar.
He's got the muscles.
Yes.
Yeah.
As Tower likes to point out, Tower said he can deadlift 1,000 pounds.
Oh wow!
Yes. This is from the Tower.
The man is a Viking.
The Tower may be
Oh.
exaggerating, but I'm sure that he can lift quite a lot. Okay, Fergberger, for you, I'll pay attention a little bit to the
Yeah,
chat, but if
yeah.
it gets out of hand again, we've left the chat all week long.
Yeah, I think Silva, it'll be great to see you as well soon. I hope that will happen. I've got a little bit of business in Dublin next weekend, which I'm going to pop over and visit one or two people there. In particular, Nick O'Hara, who's got the IPO running over there this week.
And he was here,
and
helping running things.
Yeah, he left here yesterday morning to go and stuck into running the event that's going on there this week.
Here comes
Which
the
will
Tower.
be good fun, as always, and we're going to go and say hello to him.
Here he comes.
The
He's
Tower is
coming
moving
over.
pretty
Yes.
fast.
Nick did a great job this week of being involved with the
Yes.
helping with the
K
direction
Hold'em
of the
system
tournament
and
yeah.
everything.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Or
great.
who are we losing? Are we losing me? Are we losing Chris? Are we losing
You're-
Fraser? We're
You're
losing Chris.
Yeah, I need to get some drinks.
He's got to get he's got to get the beers in.
Okay, Chris, it's been a pleasure. Congratulations once
Thanks
again,
a lot.
mate.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
guys.
joining
See you, mate.
us.
Yeah,
Enjoy
I'll,
this
We're
stream.
very happy for you,
I'll
and
Stream.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
and
See
we
you
hope
soon.
that we imagine you'll be too busy celebrating to know what's happening in the main event. So we'll update you when everything's over.
I'll keep up.
Just keep
I'll keep in
me
touch.
posted on which bar we're going to
Oh,
later
absolutely.
on. All right,
Okay.
that's the important part.
Absolutely, we are.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
All
the
right,
Take
best.
care, Chris.
Good luck at the table all.
Cheers.
And in comes the Tower, the man, the voice, the myth, the legend. Philip Heald. He's given some hugs over to Chris. The UK guys all go well back together. I've met Chris a few times, so
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
He's a great guy for sure, and he's and he deserves the success that he's been having recently.
So Stephen betting here. Let's get back into the action here for a second, because Stephen is betting 2 million after it's checked over to him. All he needed was a 6 for the gut shot to have a 5 for the gut shot. Did have the best hand. Collecting a few more chips. Tower is not in the booth yet. It's a false alarm. Tower and Chris are commentating about something else. And it's an offline private commentating.
Good evening, Blut, and nice to see you in the chat box there. Hope all is well. Tower is just about to join us, yes. JRR, yes, I believe Valentina is somewhere round about here somewhere, yes.
I believe Chris offered to get us some water as well. So
I've
that's
been
very
sat
nice
on
of
the
him.
rail. I've been watching the feature table.
Wow. So you're a
What
fanboy.
life.
Oh,
I missed you, Tower. I'm so used
I'll
to you
tell you
being
what.
with me, but it was so nice having Chris here.
Good to have him.
Yeah.
And I tell you, normally when somebody wins chunks of money and an event like this, they are straight out the door, party time, see the mates, have a good time. He's just taking half an hour out to have a quick chat.
It was great to have him in the booth because
Yeah.
he's got a great insight on
Yeah, he's got knowledge.
on playing these particular situations.
Yeah, he's
Way
got
better
knowledge.
than mine. I don't seem to be able to get past heads up. Second,
You've had a
to-
few final tables
I've
recently.
had a few, but yeah, I've had a couple of final tables recently this year, which has been nice. But yeah, I just don't seem to be able to close them out. So maybe one day.
No.
And in the meantime, if anybody suggests that I'm part of the second place club, I'll happily accept that for as
Oh,
long
absolutely.
as it's
Especially-
going. Yeah,
Especially in a big one like you did, like that, the biggest heads up you lost.
Yeah, well,
you know?
yeah, take that.
Absolutely. I did notice a great big Jeroboam
I saw that.
of Plonk.
I see it sitting behind Sergey there.
It's enormous.
It looks.
Oh my word!
It looks brilliant.
That is champagne
Yeah.
ready to be corked and popped and thrown about everywhere. I just really hope they don't do it all over this fantastic table.
But
Because-
back into this hand, because it's interesting, because Stephen here does have a piece of the board, but Sergey, when it went check, may feel that his king high at the moment is actually ahead here. So I'm curious whether Sergey, and this time Sergey actually acts quickly, no thinking, and indeed he thinks his king jack is decent. And normally it's like, don't do this at home with the 7-2, but the check mark over to Stephen. And he is ahead. It would be such thin value, but in this case, he might actually, the 5 isn't really like going to change anything
well,
for Sergey.
The thing is, there's a spade there, yeah,
That's
which
true.
does complete any potential flush draw. Albeit, I would have suspected that one of them would have, particularly Sergey, would have bet the flush draw if it had come on the flop, which he did not do. Stephen has bet the 8. He would, in most spots so far, he's folded this type of situation.
It goes check,
Sorry, check, yeah.
as
Sorry,
expected.
I thought Stephen had
And look at the
bet.
stacks now. It's back to 2-1.
Yep.
So Stephen really now back where he started. So all that hard work that Sergey did has been erased. And we could be in for an epically long heads-up battle. Or it could be over soon. We don't know.
Yeah, you just don't know how these things are going to pan out. Sometimes the cards take over and help decide it for you.
And as if it wasn't enough that Tower and I have spent all week talking to each other, sitting side by side, we're sharing a taxi tomorrow too to the airport,
We are.
There you go.
It'll be
along with Mickey.
it'll be surprising if we're on the same flight.
Yeah.
Who knows? I could be coming to Blackpool.
Right.
I think my wife wouldn't be too happy with that, and I'd like to see her and my son and my dog and
Have we ever
catch
seen?
up with some work.
Have we ever seen the cards through the glasses yet? When he's
No.
flicked them up and we've seen
Not
the
the
4 of
cards.
diamonds and the 8 of spades. Have we
No.
not seen that yet?
No.
We have not.
Oh, thankfully.
We have not.
Thankfully.
This must make for some amazing photography, though.
Yeah.
You would think so, yeah. I bet they've got some cracking shots this
It's great.
week.
You can see the size of the bets coming in.
Yeah.
That looks like that's 3 mil.
He's definitely raising the ace-3 here.
There you go. 3.3.
3.3, well played, sir. Do you know what? He's got 7 deuce, but it's suited.
And we saw Stephen just play the 7 deuce off,
Yeah, I have.
but that was a different
It is a
situation.
different situation. He is facing a reasonably large raise. Does he really want to get involved here with 7 deuce? He looks like he really wants to get involved here. He looks as if he wants to be really creative with it as well, but he might just think better of it.
I think I'm going to owe a lot of party favors to our mods. I every time I look down, there's something going on. So apologies to Mick and Donna. I'm not really paying attention to the riffraff, but you guys have been doing a great job all week. Mick the mod and
Yes, they
Donna,
have.
Dark Angel. It's been easy sailing for them actually because the chat's been so great.
Yeah, fantastic.
But I think today with some more
Well,
viewers for the
keep-
final table, it's a little different.
Keep it up, guys. Let's keep it all nice and friendly in there,
Yep.
and let's
That's what
watch
we'd
some
like to see.
fabulous poker being played. Now, what's Sergey elected to do here?
Have we had a walk yet?
No,
No.
no.
Interesting.
Neither player wants to give up their button.
No, I'm quite happy to accept bets that there will be no walks.
All right. Okay.
Heads
Wait,
up.
something happened because Sergey picked up the pot.
Yeah,
so he
I
must have
thought
three-bet.
he was looking creative, and
Wow.
this is why you have to give him time to work things out, because he just looked like he wanted to get involved.
Yeah, and ace rag
Ace
is
three,
actually
ace
pretty
three,
strong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's strong, but it's not strong when you're being 3-bet with it. So
That used to be Jason's.
Yes, that
Did
euro.
you win that euro?
He's going to
did you?
frame this euro.
Yeah.
Used to be Jason's.
He's going to keep it until I see him next, which hopefully will be soon, and say, Jason, this is your euro.
Madrid would be good.
Yes, you can spend it in Madrid, though.
If you want to send a message to the team that the gruesome twosome back together for Madrid, let us know.
Let's see if we can make it happen.
Yep.
But that's up to the team at MPNPT. We're here with the Battle of Malta now. MPN is a partner of the Battle of Malta. Tower and I have done commentating together for the MPNPT before back in Prague.
Right.
I felt that went very well. We had a good time anyway.
Prague's amazing.
It is an amazing city. It's an amazing city for sure.
If not, I'm sure Tower and I will team up at some other place. I'll come out to Madrid, regardless of whether it's for commentating, for other work, or
it'll
just
be
to
a
play
great,
it.
it'll be a great event. MPN's final live event.
And I've never been to Madrid, believe it or not, which is the strangest thing in the world because I've been to Spain literally like 10 or 15
I
times.
love Madrid. Madrid's a great city in my opinion.
I'm always on the coast somewhere.
But then it might have something to do with it being the scene of my best ever cash. So,
Ooh-hoo.
oi, oi, here we go.
Oh, look at this.
Chris has just turned up with
Thank
those
you,
glasses
Chris.
of water that he promised.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, mate.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
All the best.
Cheers, well played.
And look at this, because we have Sergey here raising to 2.8 million with the ace-4 rag. Steven will certainly be 3-betting here. How big will it be? This looks like, wow, 9 million. This is not an online betting 3-bet size, nor was the 2.8 million raised, to be fair, an online betting starting size, so that helps. And
Yeah, that's-
Sergey
Very interesting line here.
Sergey may think that Steven is trying to make a move after Sergey just
Defi-
3-bet the
definitely,
7-2.
yeah, absolutely, definitely possible that he takes that. He has that thought process. I'm sure he is thinking that through. But equally, I think in this situation he realizes ace-4 is not a great hand to be defending in this particular spot where you're being 3-bet heavily with it.
Very
So-
disciplined here,
Yeah.
Sergey.
Well, everything he's done so far has worked out like that. They've both played some good, disciplined poker. Sergey has proven that he's prepared to mix it up with 7-deuce suited and 3-bet with it. And he's very, very nicely balanced with his betting and ranges at this point in time.
Now, if you were a betting trader, what would the odds be that you would place on each of the two heads-up players? We see it's about a 2-to-1 edge, but I don't know if we would rank it 2-to-1.
No,
Would it be like a 3, like you have to bet $3 on Steven to win 1 and $1 on Sergey to win $2.50?
I'll be honest and say that sports betting has never really been my thing, so I can't.
Okay.
I wouldn't be the best at being an odds maker.
Ah,
Team
that-
Well Tower, that should be
However-
his department.
That's why you've still got money.
Well, yeah, Tower will tell us what he thinks.
What, right now?
What do you think you would put the odds at of a 2-to-1 chip lead? What are the?
True odds would be if it was on an exchange.
I think it'd be 1-4.
1-4. So Fordar's
Mm.
partly because of celebrity name value, I bet too, which actually
And the beard.
and the beard.
And the
yes,
beard.
Come on, that
Mm.
beard's amazing.
Yeah.
So I believe that's Connor in the chat saying 1-3 Steven and 2-1 Sergey. I was kind of thinking something similar to that.
Maybe I get more pundits, more people betting with Towers bookies.
You could do this situation, yeah, for sure.
If that is you, Connor, sorry I didn't see you this week. Hope you had a good time. And Sergey flopping top pair here. Steven raising to 2.3 million with 10 deuce off the Brunson. And Sergey defending with 9-5 off. Two very premium hands here, Fraser. What do you think?
Yeah, this
These
is
are two of the best hands in poker.
Yeah, these are right up at the top of these the ranges here, yeah, for sure.
But both players flopping a piece.
Wow.
But Sergey likely. Oh, look.
No, listen,
Steven actually betting
well,
this out.
the thing here is, regardless of the hands pre-flop, it is very difficult to flop a pair.
Yes.
So when you do flop a pair heads up, you consider that you are in a pretty strong position. And Steven effectively here is sort of following his line of having a strong hand pre. And Sergey is certainly going to want to stay involved here. The only question is, does he want to be raising here? And I think we can assume that the answer to that is probably going to be, I think we can assume that it's going to be no. Because he's just flat called.
Getting a little lower on chips if he's wrong here, but I mean, it is top pair. He should feel very comfortable that he's ahead. He has some kicker issues if Steven did have top pair as well, but like the play and reevaluate on the turn whether you can get value.
Well,
And
the thing
board gets wetter here, though.
Yeah, it does. The thing is, and this does bring extra outs for Steven. The situation here for Sergey is, if he's flop top pair, he's either behind to an overpair, or most likely behind to an overpair, or he's well in front and doesn't want to scare off Steven if he's not flopped any part of it. So maybe the raise on the flop doesn't really achieve a great deal.
So check. Not too surprised on that, and I
Yep.
think we'll see that happen again. Although Steven may make a stab at it.
I think I think Sergey's possibly going to just have a bet here.
Try to get some value out of his.
The
pair.
the king's a bit of a scare card for him because
It did go check though.
yeah, it did so. The king is a bit of a scare card there because if he hasn't made any part of, if Steven hasn't flopped well, then the king is well in his range for raising pre-flop.
Now, Tower, I didn't even book any new guests this late. I thought we'd be potentially over by now. So
Did you really?
yes,
That was ambitious.
That was ambitious.
Yes.
That was ambitious.
Wow, you didn't tell me that. I said 11 p.m.
okay.
I said 11 p.m. and it'd be Hugo Burger and a pint afterwards. That was
Hugo
my,
Burger
that,
sounds good. I've had way too many Hugo Burgers this
that was
week.
my
though.
guess. I've not had one this week. I got one bought in.
I've had one.
No, the
but
Manchester
probably every
lads
day.
The Manchester lads landed and fetched me a Hugo Burger. They were awesome.
But it's lovely that Fraser is free because always nice to catch up with Fraser, whether it's in the booth.
It's always a pleasure, so thank you.
We usually have a chat even if I'm working and you're doing
Of
whatever
course,
you do. We
yeah.
don't know what actually you do, but you do something.
It's funny that because most of the people that work with me say the same thing. Julie's saying there she quite likes the underdog in this spot because he's although he's not experienced, he's playing very well, and I think you're absolutely spot on the money there, Julie. He's playing exceptionally well.
They're both playing well, I have to say, though. Like Sergey is
yeah, for
impressing
sure.
me. I didn't know very much about him, but he's hanging in there.
He definitely is, and he's not not allowing Stephen to run all over the top of him in this situation.
Heads up
Look.
for the title.
Look at this. Framak has entered the chat box. How
Ah,
about that? Yeah.
The real Framak.
Yeah, no. It's Frasmak sitting here. We met earlier in the year, as it happens. And he said, I didn't know your nickname was Frasmak, but I kept going into these games and playing online, and people were talking to me that I didn't have any idea who it was. And I
Oh,
said,
right, okay.
No, you're kidding on. It's Fraser. It's Fraser. He said, yeah, it is Fraser, but I don't know who you are. And I said, no, it's such and such. And he said, I have no idea who you are, mate. And they obviously both thought each other was pulling the other one's leg. So, if anybody was offended by me not speaking to them or talking to them on the chat in online at some point in time, there's a good chance it might have been Framak.
Ah. So we are heads up for the title. Fantastic event by everybody concerned from top to bottom, and every member of staff that has worked this week. Give yourselves a pat on the back
Absolutely.
because it has been amazing.
They've all done a fantastically good job.
Yep.
Everybody's worked so hard this week to make the event the success that it really has been, and obviously everybody that's been working behind the scenes in the run up to it over the last year, really, since Battle of Malta 2018. It's,
Yeah, the day it ended, I think they got the feedback from
Absolutely.
the partners, feedback from the players.
we were involved in the debrief meeting the day after the event ended last year, and it was obviously all very
Was it?
positive. It was.
Was it? Where did they all come from?
I think a lot of it was,
Last
how
year,
did we manage to do that?
last year went from 2,200 the previous year to
Yep.
3,800 last and 16.
Yes,
And
it was
Is it-
insane.
It's impossible to legislate for that kind of increase.
We did not anticipate that, and we at Main Event Travel, we were involved as soon as the event was purchased by Casino Malta and brought here. They got us involved, and we've been talking to them from that point in time over a number of things. And we sat down with them afterwards, and we just hadn't anticipated having numbers like that for 2018 at all. So it was delightful to get them, but it obviously threw in some headaches with logistics and staffing and everything else that goes along with that. So I'm delighted to say we worked on that afterwards and got the debrief and worked on a lot of the issues and have fixed the vast majority of them for this year, and look forward to some constructive criticism and comments about how we can improve it for 2020.
Very nice. And
Look
back
at
into
this,
the action,
yeah.
though, because Steven was betting into Sergey both diamonds everywhere, but Sergey just floating with the ace high, maybe thought he's good. It was a pretty dry board on the flop, but now Sergey has paired up his ace, has two pair. Steven, though, giving up on the hand. So I think the excitement was more on the flop, unless Sergey checks for one last time. Maybe Steven makes a final stab on it, but I think he's given up on the pot.
Think we can safely bet anything.
Yeah, I think Sergey's going to bet here.
Yeah. Probably make it about 3.2, but it's 3.175 too many.
Indeed.
Sergey back into the mental tank. It would be fun if they actually put him into a physical
Yeah.
tank, but he's in the mental one.
The one thing with the really good shot there is we can't see the bet size, and we can't see him either, whether he's tapping the table or betting the chips or. But fantastic camera angles by the team. Great efforts for the entire tournament. The chairs have been well received.
Yeah, they
Everybody-
look great, don't they?
Everybody was sat on the feature tables and was whizzing round. Whee!
Sadly, I didn't get the opportunity to sit in any of the chairs,
Ah.
but they look fantastic.
So Sergey is chipping up
Yeah, he's doing a fine job.
Mm-hmm. Stephen is chatting to the rail
Taking a
as
break.
as he does every hand.
And sometimes he may be able to get away with it mid-hand because we see that Sergey likes to take his time on decisions, but as we've taken note, it's not like on hands that are just very obvious. Some of it might be obvious, but it's not like crystal clear obvious.
Mm-hmm.
He is 100% contemplating every single move that he makes, and I think he's entitled to do so at this stage of the game.
Absolutely.
And as we have seen, I know this can be frustrating sometimes when you think that somebody's slow playing and dragging their heels and making decisions. But as we've seen already, he has 3-bet 7 deuce and got Stephen to lay down the raggy ace pre-flop. So although he's taking his time and thinking about that, and you look and see he's got 7 deuce. Yeah, this is a snap fold. In this situation, nothing is a snap fold.
Yes, I've never played for 150,000
Yeah.
heads up without like even
Yeah.
a deal. I mean, even online, I've made a deal on my biggest cash, and Ilana pointing that out. All the people saying they're playing too slow when you play for 150,000 euros. Heads up, feel free to fold faster.
That's a very good point.
And sometimes that's a mistake of mine because I do play too fast. I go with my first instinct when I'm playing. And if I thought something out a little bit more, I may be talking myself out of the correct decision, but at least it's a thought-out decision.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing here.
We saw the raise then,
Yes.
and I saw him playing with his chips.
Right.
Makes it 2.8. Who's this strange fella walking towards us? Uh-oh.
We got Dara back.
No, we're watching Coronation Street.
Does Dara have time for us? The one and only Doak, Dara O'Kearney, back from dinner, and he's surprised it's still going on too. And I just said, Dara, I didn't book another guest this late because I thought it would be over too. And Dara's like, this is still going on? So I think we're on the on a similar page, but maybe after the break we get Dara back if he is around.
Is there a break soon?
I mean, it should be. We're at 501 million for a bit of time. I'm thinking
Okay.
maybe another 20 minutes before the break.
Cool.
If it gets that far, maybe a little bit less.
This
even.
one's going to be relatively straightforward because Sergey's going to bet, Stephen's going to snap fold, and we'll get on to the next one.
Do you think they'll give the two of them a 75-minute dinner break?
Well, they're entitled to it. They're entitled to it.
Oh,
but
talking about that.
yeah.
Talking about that, there's actually we have a staff room.
We do?
Part of the
Oh, yes,
when
that
you walk
one.
down, there's a snack.
The pasta
Oh,
room.
There's the pasta room basically, and you can have a little bite to eat like lunch.
Awesome.
On the house. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Is the pasta room open today?
It's on again today.
Who would have thought?
There's only 4 staff.
They heard Tower was still working.
Well, they've
So,
probably
yes.
seen you. They've probably seen you in the
So-
buffet before, mate.
Exactly. But no, it's been well received. Thank you very much. A lot of fruits, pasta dishes galore for all the staff, all the dealers, and all the coordinators getting there for breaks for a couple of hours. And I was very surprised it was open for the staff today because 90% of them have departed after doing an amazing job here at the Battle of Malta.
And this is a nice hand for Steven. I do love the 10-7 suited hands. I do like the suited one-gappers, but 10-7 is one of my favorites. I like Jack 8.
We'll be keeping an eye on you when you're playing against me in future, sir.
Yes, but I play a lot of Omaha, as you know.
Yeah, best.
I play a lot of mixed games.
That's-
You know I
It's
like
a great,
Cash Fraser.
great game. Yes, I love the game of PLO.
You actually won a TV table in PLO back in
Yeah.
Tallinn last year. You were randomly in Tallinn. I said, hey,
did.
Fraser, what's
I was
going on? Let's
there-
get you
I
on the
was-
TV
I
table.
was there on business, and you convinced me, coerced me to go on the TV table for a little while.
I didn't have to twist your arm too hard there,
No,
Fraser.
it was PLO. Obviously, any opportunity that I get. And I had a good time, actually. It was really good fun. Thoroughly
and
enjoyed
you were
it.
the biggest
Yeah.
winner on the table.
And it did so happen to be the biggest winner on the table. Not the biggest winner of the week, unfortunately, so I didn't
No, you
pick
didn't
up
win the
that trophy.
trophy.
But then, there you go.
But
Typical
Mark and
second-
Matthew seem that main event travel seemed surprised that you won anything. No, but you're a very good cash
typical-
player. You're a very good
Thank
tournament
you, sir.
player as
Thank
well.
you, yes. Typical second place Fraser. That's what I'm used to.
No, they think of you mostly as tournaments, but because nobody's really paying attention to the cash. But you do like to play cash, I know.
I play a fair amount of cash when I get the chance, and generally speaking, I really play PLO. Don't play a lot of Hold'em cash anymore at all.
What about mixed games? I know they don't run so much, but I try to get one going wherever I go, and people know when they see me, it's mixed game time. Like last time in London, all of a sudden we got a sweet and special game out of nowhere because the locals that like to play can't get the other locals.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know enough people where I could say, you bring 2 people, we got a game.
I'm not. I haven't played many mixed games at all. Actually, it's something that I really should spend a little more time getting into.
It is fun. I mean, that's how I grew up playing poker. I was a grassroots poker player back in the early 80s at like 8, 9 years old. And it was always just you choose the game when you want to deal, pennies, nickels, dimes.
Yep. It's good fun playing a little bit of
There's
cash
more
in
to
different
that
games.
story,
yeah,
but,
there's a bit of a
can tell it
story.
offline.
There's a bit of a story here because Sergey is in front, and Stephen has limped the button pre-flop. Sergey's check called the 1 million bet on the flop, and on the turn, Stephen's picked up the double gut shot, and it's going to go check here, I think. Although Stephen looks awful interested in going for chips. I think he's going to check. He's giving it plenty of thought anyway. He's desperate to bet, but he knows it should just be a check.
He's reaching for the chips.
Yeah, he's going for it. Is that 3 million he's stuck in there into the pot of 5?
That should be good enough, folks.
Should be. He did take a fair amount of time to consider that though, so I think Sergey with Queen High here it's not necessarily a snap fold, everybody.
It would be a very ambitious call, though.
But it is a quick fold in this situation.
Good evening on Facebook. If you're watching the live stream on there, just quickly logged in to see what was happening. That's,
What's going on, Tower?
well, it's the same pictures, to be fair.
Ah,
Yeah,
who would have
amazing.
thought?
I know, exactly. If you're in Facebook and watching it on Facebook Live or Facebook itself with the live stream, then good evening. Hope everybody is well. Doak's here. While he's hanging about, he might as well jump in my seat.
Yeah, we'll get Doak.
Come on, Doak. Get
so we're
in
gonna
here.
get on pre-break.
I'm the man. I'm the man that gets booted out for everything. So
I took one for the team earlier. I'm just too far into the booth to be able to move.
The anchor man is there.
I planted myself on the
Jason
far end.
is there, and you've got Fraser as well. So here comes Doak.
Tower will be back soon. Fraser will likely be letting Tower back with the headphones after the break.
Of course.
And I don't think the break is too far away at this point. Welcome back, Dara.
Thank you. So how's it been going? Their heads up, right?
They've been heads up for quite a while, and it started out with Steven with the 2-1 chip edge. Sergey battled back a little bit. Steven regained the 2-1 chip edge, and now Sergey has almost evened things up. I mean, it's basically a 7-5 chip edge.
Oh, wow.
And great to have you. How was dinner?
Dinner was great. We went to dinner with Bobby James, Clodagh Hansen, who runs this amazing tour, has built it into something special, and my wife.
It was nice to finally meet your wife. I mean,
she
it's
doesn't
been
come
so
to
many
very
years I've known you.
She doesn't come to very many poker events. It's fair to say she used to travel with me a lot more when I was doing the running. Oh, this is interesting now.
We have to hop right into the action.
Yeah. So Stephen starts out with a check. He's got middle pair, which is pretty strong heads up.
Yeah, especially with Sergey limping the button pre-flop.
Sergey's been limping buttons. Okay.
Yeah.
How do
Well, he hasn't necessarily been.
mixing it
It's been mixed up
okay.
by both players. They've both been playing very well.
Yeah.
But in this particular hand, and I don't think we've seen Sergey on the button with too many aces. But in this particular hand, he's limped the ace-4 suited.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty standard there.
Yeah.
Stephen goes for the check call. He has a hand which figures to be best a lot, but there's no point in raising. If he's behind, he's going to be well behind, and if he's ahead, there's not too much chance he gets drawn out on.
So Sergey may try to get some value out of the exact hands that Stephen has. King X's.
Yeah, he's not loving this
No, the
card
queen's
now
a
because the
difficult
Queen
one,
X
yeah.
has pulled ahead, and the King X has now shrunk in value. So therefore,
But he's been thinking a lot about his hands. This time he didn't think. It's a quick
Yeah.
bet. So the only reason why he's not turning his hand into a bluff, it's
no, he's bet half pot as well. So
it's to get those draws out. I mean, there's 2 diamonds on the board.
Yeah, there are 2 diamonds, and any Jack or 10 is a gut shot as well. So there are a lot of hands we can get called by that are worse.
And to get value from that King X.
And he's going to be chopping with all the Ace X.
Yep.
So
We expect this on most rivers to go check, though, for reasons Dara said. And let's see if Sergey will actually try to get very thin value. It would only be kings that would be calling him.
yeah, this would be very thin. This is just kings.
Then again,
I think
he
this
could
is
say,
a great spot for him to actually get paid by somebody.
yeah, I'm thinking about this, and I'm
I
thinking
think this
that
is good.
that Stephen has no queens, and yes, Stephen has some aces, but you're chopping the aces anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're basically, if he pushes you out of the pot, you just say, hats off, Stephen, you pushed me out of the pot. But Stephen hasn't really been doing that, so I
Yep.
think it's safe enough to be betting here.
I
'cause
think
if
he
you-
should be betting here. I really do. I think his body language doesn't look like he's necessarily going to do that, though. But
Yeah, with Stephen having checked 3 times, it's unlikely Stephen has a super strong hand here.
yes,
What will you do here, Sergey?
I'd love to see him go in and find
I'd
sort
love
of
to get into the heads of these
6 to
players.
7 million, 6.5 million.
In 2030, we'll
He's
be able to
checking,
plant
yeah.
the ship
He
and
has
see what they're
checked.
Yeah, I
thinking.
felt he just looked like he
Yeah.
wanted to check, and he'll probably regret not getting a little more value there when he sees the hands.
But
Yeah.
look at the
But-
stacks here; they're
yeah.
evened up.
Yeah,
So Sergey holding his own against one of the best in the world.
Stephen-
Certainly one of the
Stephen-
best here on the island of Malta that lives here regularly, if not the best in Malta. The Viking himself, Stephen Van Zadelhoff.
Stephen had a 2-1 chip lead when we started heads
Wow.
up. So
Look how deep they are still, though. This,
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
this could go on a while.
And Stephen's
Yep.
been playing very well. It's so hard to put him on hands on anything else. I would love to chat with Stephen after the event, but I imagine no matter what happens, that's likely. We're going to be here in the stream. Stephen's going to be busy
Steve's-
doing his thing, so
he'll
maybe
be
I'll
already
reach out to him
celebrating. Yeah.
later. More from an informational standpoint, to understand some of the plays, not necessarily here heads up, but earlier on the final table and on day 3 as well.
Yeah, so with them being this deep, tournaments often end with about 40 big blinds in play. That's kind of the average. So we still have over 100 big blinds. So this could be a while.
If it went the other way, then it wouldn't be necessarily too long. But Sergey not getting run over at all.
More often than not, a heads up is decided just by the cards. You obviously have a skill edge, and in the long run, the better player will win. But the edge won't actually be that big. Like you could be like considerably better than your opponent, and you're still only going, assuming levels are stacks are level, you're still only going to win about 10% of the time extra. So
That
most of
is
the time the
true.
cards decide.
But you do have a lot of heads-up specialists too that think otherwise. That are willing to think I have like a
For
a
sure.
20% edge.
Sure.
Steven didn't want to chop this. Sergey. There is no deal right now, and they're playing for 150,000 heads up right now. From what we
I-
know, anyway. Maybe that's different.
I
than
wouldn't be surprised at all that if the stacks balance out a little bit more, then there may be talk of a deal at that point. in
Okay.
time.
Yeah, I agree
Because
with that. Maybe
Stephen
even
had
on
a
the
2
break.
to 1 heads up. It's 2 to 1 chip lead heads up, and going into heads up at that point in time, there's no real incentive for him to be doing too much of a deal. He realizes that, or he feels that he will have the most experience of this situation playing for this kind of money.
Yeah,
And he will not want to give away any equity in that spot whatsoever.
particularly when they're as deep as they are. He
Yes.
has plenty of time to exploit
Yes.
his edge.
Whereas money means less. Like the utility value of money to Steven, an extra 150,000 means a lot less than someone like me. Maybe similar to you guys, where you would want that extra 150,000, but it's not
I'm not so sure
that important.
I'm not so sure that it's the value of the money that makes that the thinking that Stephen will have, because I'm pretty sure that it could be a lot less money, before, and then he would still
Yes.
take a similar approach, or a lot, more money. I think it's the situation here.
But I think
where
if it
he
was a
has
lot more
chip
money,
lead.
let's say it was like 1.5 million and 3 million, then I
Okay.
think Steven would be more likely to be willing to make a deal. Just even with the edge and being able to use that
Perhaps.
edge to negotiate a better deal, perhaps.
Perhaps I'm just not convinced that he wouldn't still say, well, wait a minute. No, I've got an edge. I've got a 2-1 chip lead here,
Yeah,
and I've got a lot of big blinds to play with.
On the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
hand,
So
that edge
he's got a
is-
lot of time though
is
to.
important in the short term, but how many opportunities like this are you going to have over the course of your life to really gain that edge that you actually have? You know,
I
It's-
appreciate that. Yeah.
It's always interesting to me how players think about these spots too. Like a lot of players think when they have a big chip lead, they don't want to do a deal because they feel they're going to win most of the time. But then a lot of professionals think, well, that's actually the time when you have the most equity to lose if something flips around. The biggest tournament I've ever been heads up in was in Vegas at WSOP in 2015, and my opponent had a very significant chip lead over me and was undoubtedly a better heads-up player. He was an online heads-up specialist. And yet he ended up offering a deal where I got more money than I should have got because he didn't want to take the variance of playing heads up for almost 200 grand.
can you say who it was, or you don't want to say?
Pesca de Silva, who's
Okay.
since gone on to win 2 more bracelets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a baller.
The interesting thing in the chat box here, and obviously I'm not able to verify this, so I'm taking this at face value, but Prep is saying that Stephen did not chop the W Cup main event when it was 1.6 for first, 1.1 for second, and he had a lot less money back then. So
I believe that's true, but I also believe he told us when we interviewed him on the chip race that he only had 22% of his own action in that tournament, and that actually Kenny Hallert had more of him than he had of himself.
Ben
So
Kenny
it-
dictates
the
the
decision
deal,
it
whether
may
it's
probably
taken
taken
Kenny's
out of his
decision.
hands. Yes. Yes.
But even so, that kind of says a lot of how he'll behave here. We
think
will
so.
most likely not see a deal based off that.
I just think
And,
when they
um,
went into heads up, I do think that he would. Yeah, definitely. I hear what you're saying about he has the most equity at that point in time.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and
like in buying insurance, basically.
yeah, but I also think that at that point in time, he probably feels that he could negotiate a reasonable share of the chop, even if they were level in chips.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
you know,
That's true if it drops
on the
back.
basis of his experience in the situation, that might not be the case. Sergey may be saying, no, we're quite happy to play this here, but that's how I would take it. I think that's how I would read the situation.
I'm very friendly with Ape Styles, Jonathan Van Fleet, and he once told me that he never wants to make a deal, no matter what the situation is. That he feels he studies enough. I mean, there's probably a chance that he'll make a deal, but he says, whether I'm friends with you or not friends with you, I always just want to play for the goods. And if you want to make a deal, that's even more so that I don't want to make a deal, because then you're a little bit more nervous than I am.
This is it's interesting. It's definitely something which divides professionals. I know Tonka, for example, who's also an absolute boss. Tonka's on record as saying that even if you're playing heads up against a guy you're much better than, and even if he won't give you extra, you should still chop just for pure variance reasons. That it's too much of a risk. It's not like neither of these players, even as rich as Stephen is, Stephen doesn't play 150k heads up
battles.
heads up,
Yeah.
heads up
Very
battles,
often,
which
yes.
essentially is what this is.
Yes.
These opportunities don't happen all the time.
Yeah.
Poker City NL coming in with some facts. He also had 16% of his own action at the W Cube,
Yeah.
which played a big part as well. They did an interview with him. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we have my boys Frank and Yori listening in. I haven't seen them pop into the chat, but they would probably know the same. But Poker City NL was with us yesterday when we had Stephen in, and thank you for that information. They do a lot of live reporting on the Dutch poker scene right now.
Cool. I don't think the buy-in for the W Cup was $500, incidentally. Was that not a 5k?
The W Cup was
Yeah.
5K,
It was
yes.
5k, yeah, that's what I thought.
And Sergey
Hence
waking
the
up with a
1.5.
monster
Wow.
here.
Yeah, this is an auto 3 bet. Stephen's gone for a raise on the button with King 3.
Yeah.
It's a hand which has a nice high card, but doesn't play particularly well post flop, so he's decided to play it as a raise.
And you know what this does to the chip counts?
makes them exactly level.
Exactly.
Wow, Sergey battling back, and we are even Steven, folks.
Yes.
We should dig our feet into the sand. I don't mean that you should run out to the beach, Fraser, and dig your feet into the actual sand, but we should get ready for some fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although you can, because I think you're going to get a little bit of
I'm going to get
a
a
break.
timeout.
We need to get Tower back in eventually,
Of course, yeah. Well,
and I don't want to take any more breaks.
He's paid for this, and I'm not. So But
It's
I
not even
am
about
thoroughly
that.
enjoying-
It's not even
I'm
about that,
thoroughly
Fraser.
enjoying
We've
it.
been doing this for 7 straight days, so we want to
Yeah.
see the story
Of
come
course.
to conclusion.
Of course, yeah.
It's going to be very hard to get me out of that seat again. I gave up my seat as a favor to someone earlier, so we can get people in. And there's a reason I'm buried in deep here. It's going to
Quite
be,
right.
We're gonna have to drag you out.
you're going to have to literally drag me out of the
We're
booth
going to need
now.
more of those helium balloons, and then we can just lift them out.
Yeah, if you can lift me out, it's fine.
He'll be like the little guy in Up.
Yeah, if Steven comes, he could deadlift me out. He could deadlift 5 of me out of the
Yeah.
booth.
Oh, yeah. Apparently so. According to the tower. So
So
he's
yep.
just limping here.
Yeah, you guys have said he's been mixing it up between limps and raises.
Yep.
Yeah, Queen Jack's a strong hand.
Yeah.
You could certainly raise it, but you need to be limping some strong hands as well.
Absolutely.
It looks like Sergey actually technically has a chip lead. It's probably by just like a few 100,000 chips. We have rounding because it rounds to the nearest million, but based on what we're seeing here, to start the hand, Sergey had the lead. So first time with the lead and
Wow.
heads up.
And he's flop top pair here. Stephen has a gut shot, which is why he has 17% equity there.
Get ready. It's okay.
And interestingly, the flop went check, check. Sergey elected not to bet his top pair. Stephen might take a stab at this now because he has his gut shot and
Yep.
he thinks that he can possibly get Sergey to fold some hands maybe over 2 streets. And the good thing about betting a gut shot in this spot is that if you hit your gut shot on the river, you can very easily get paid. So he has gone for a bet now. Sergey won't fold here. The question is he going to call or is he going to raise?
And we have our main man, Hamar, coming back here. And for those of you that have been tuning in all week, when I announce that, you know what that means. That means we have a couple hands left before the break.
Doom.
Hamar from HD Poker Stream. And while you're here, I mean, I've complimented the job that you guys have done all week, but these cameras are beautiful, what's going on here. Well done, HD Poker
Yeah,
Stream.
fantastic. Pictures are fabulous.
It's been very exciting.
The one thing the tower was asking for earlier on was actually, if it's possible, to get a little bit more footage of them placing their bets, if that's possible. So that would be good.
So we've had a bet and a call for Stephen with his gut shot. And Sergey's called.
So Sergey now widening the gap. He has a 7 million chip lead. All of
Oh, I
a
guess it
sudden,
was there, yeah.
the
Yeah.
Viking is an underdog. Maybe not an odds underdog. I think if we were putting this on the exchange, the Viking would still be a 2-1 favorite to win this. But I think in reality, the Viking is not quite a 2-1 favorite because Sergey now has been betting well.
I'm not sure.
I'm just saying you typically like what
Sergey at 2-1, I think.
what happens. I grew up in New Jersey, and what happens with the let's say underground betting scene that happened there when I was a kid. If you bet on the New York teams, you weren't going to get quite the odds that you think you bet. So
Of
name
course.
recognition is going to take a bit into account.
Yeah.
People want to bet on the names that they know,
Yeah, of course. I hear
and
you.
that's how this works sometimes. It drives the odds, and then if it's on a pure exchange, yes, then it'll even out based on the professional people betting. But if it's on like a recreational, betting area, they know a lot of people are going to bet on Steven no matter what, so they would make the odds like 2-1 or 1.5-1, even though he right now has less chips than his opponent.
So Stephen's on the button with 4-2 suited. A hand which flops pretty well, but is pretty weak. Be interesting to see what he does with these type of hands.
This is. It used to be one of my favourite hands, actually. 4-2 suited.
That doesn't surprise me.
I
Fraser.
knew you would say that. And Queen 7 suited is a very nice hand to be
Very
defending
floppable.
with.
Normally you would play this just as a defend.
Yep.
It's too strong to 3-bet because if we get 4-bet, we are not very happy.
Yep.
Flops very well. So because of the raise pre-flop now, this is already quite a big pot.
Yeah, 6 million in there. And
Absolutely nothing for Stephen, but also nothing for Sergey.
Yep.
This is the kind of board where whoever's ahead pre-flop is probably still ahead. So it'd be interesting to see if Stephen decides to bet this. He has a backdoor flush and he has 4 high, so
I suspect
Two
he's
good
got-
reasons to
I
bet.
think he's got to be
Two good
betting
reasons,
here.
yeah.
I mean,
he
he's-
knows he's not ahead.
this is a great board for him to be continuing on here because
yeah, it's a hard
it's
board
so
to hit.
hard for his opponent to have connected with it.
Yeah.
Therefore, he had the betting lead. Keep the betting leads.
But Circuit has shown a lot of heart. Let's see
He
if he
certainly
sees through
has.
this.
He certainly has, yeah. And he has not been insta-folding in situations like this at all, Dara. So,
Yeah.
the
The same thing applies on both sides. This is a hard board to hit, so it's hard for Stephen to have hit the board as well.
exactly.
Queen high is a pretty strong hand heads up. It's going to be the best hand a lot pre-flop. And if it was best pre, it's probably
Looks
best.
like a fold here.
But it looks like he's setting himself up to fold. He also does have some backdoors, obviously, with the queen wrapped around the jack 10. But be interesting to see what he does here. It's quite a small bet as well. It's 1.5 million into 6.
I think he's just likely to give up here.
Yeah, he's giving
Yeah.
up. So that shows the power of Stephen's pre-flop raise, taking the aggression and then actually taking it down with the worst hand with on the flop with a very small bet. We're being asked in the chat where Column finished. I think he was he fourth?
Fourth
yeah.
place, yes.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
following it a bit on Twitch when I was at dinner.
It was a
So,
very good run for him today,
yeah.
though.
yeah,
He
amazing.
should be happy with his fourth place finish. Just fell shy of that 6-figure payout, but he entered the day with the lowest stack of chips. And folks, players are walking away from the table. It looks like we will not be on a dinner break. That's good news for all of us. Instead, it will be a 20-minute break. Dara will be back with us after the break. Fraser will be here as our utility man, but we will have the tower most likely back and bringing to you the rest of the heads-up battle. So please stay tuned. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and see you soon.
same with me. With all the joy that we got in our heart was somewhere in the gray in between. I forget how happy we can be.
See you on the other side. Stay alive. Stay alive. I got to keep it together. Keep it together. Keep it together. Keep it together. See you on the other side. Stay alive. Stay alive. I got to keep it together. Keep it together. I got to keep it together. Keep it together. Keep it together.
And we are back, and we have news for you. But first, let's introduce who is in the booth. This is Jason Glatzer. I'm back with the Tower once again.
There's a new fella in seat 3.
Seat 3 is
It's
the Tower.
me. It's me.
And Doak Darrow Kearney, the voice, along with David
I'm
Lappin,
fed.
of the chip race, the award-winning chip race. I apologize for not mentioning the award-winning.
I'm
Yep.
totally fed up. I'm totally fed up of people coming in to my seat and talking sense.
And talking sense.
They
Well,
know
we have the
exactly
Tower
what's
back.
happening.
But I have some big news.
What's
and
that?
those of you that didn't think that there was going to be a deal made,
Right?
you were wrong.
Really?
There has been a deal. They've planned out the payouts, so each player now is going to walk home with a very nice prize of at least 217,000 euros. So you could see the chip stacks are exactly even.
Wow.
So Steven, not asking for more, wanted to flat out the payouts. Sergey proving himself worthy, and they are playing for 30,000 euros heads up and the trophy and the honor of becoming the 2019 Battle of Malta main event champion.
Surprising news indeed. Evening, Dara.
Evening. How are you, sir?
Very
How was
good.
your break?
Yourself? I've been watching on the rail. It's been awesome.
So you've watched in lifetime, but
I
not the last half
I
hour.
was watching in lifetime, and we've just come back. I got hollowed in to. Can you do some guest commentary? And here I am.
So our main commentator, Tower, and I have been here all week. We've had a blast.
Absolutely.
But Tower was a complete gentleman. I relieved myself earlier when
Yeah.
Bobby came in, but
Yeah.
Tower doing the same when
The anchor man
we've had a few other guests.
organised everybody coming in, and it was only right that he got to chat to everybody. So
But you're here for the end stretch.
we are here.
Neither of us are going to get up out of our seats until
And
the very end.
And I don't know why, and I don't know what's happened, but the rails swelled
Wow.
considerably. And I don't know why. I don't know where they've all come from. But the rail has swelled.
So the entire island of Malta
Well-
is now railing.
Maybe they've realised that local lad Stephen Van Zadeloff has made the final 2.
The Viking.
The Vike.
And some premium hands here. We have 6 high and 7 high. And Sergey nails the hell out of this flop, but
Yeah,
it's
look
going to
at
be tough
this.
for him to get any value
Yeah.
here. Steven grabbing some chips out, but folds. I think that's for the blinds the
Just
next
preparing
hand.
for the blinds next hand. Yep.
Oh, and did you know it's a 30-minute clock?
A 30-minute clock now.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll see some things speed up.
Yeah,
and
that should speed things up.
It's a 30-minute clock. This is the first level at 30 minutes. And I also think, and I'm not too sure, but shouldn't the big blind ante be a small blind ante?
No, not at the Battle of Malta. And we've seen this at many other places that they're keeping the big blind ante throughout.
What's the reason?
The reason is that basically it helps speed up the play a little bit.
Right, okay.
Also makes it more action. And what I've seen actually at the Swedish Masters, something even more interesting, they did a small blind ante from the very beginning,
Ah, right.
and then they kept it at the end. And I kind of like that.
Oh.
But I do like that they kept the big blind ante throughout. It makes it so that we haven't seen a single button fold throughout this long heads-up battle.
I nearly spent this euro on exactly that. I nearly had a bet with Fraser when he said I'll take any odds. And
So
then-
we're going to give exact amounts of the deal. It was 217,167 euros for each player, and the winner will get exactly 30,000 more, 247,167 euros. So
Awesome.
30,000 left to play for, and we could see stacks in, depending on what happens here with both players with ace queen, but it may not happen.
I re-raise. Yeah, I'm all in. I call. Chop it up.
You'll often see after a chop that does speed things up considerably.
Mhm.
Players are happier to get it in. It seemed very cagey before the deal, which was understandable given how much they were paying for it. They're paying for a lot less, but still a significant chunk. Both these hands are obviously strong enough to get in pre-flop
Mhm.
for 40 big blinds or so. So we are going to see the 3-bet.
One. Is that about 12 mil? Love how the guys have lowered it so we can see Sergey playing with his chips, and you can see the size of the bets going in. Love that.
That's a fairly large 3-bet. That 3-bet tells me I'm willing to.
There's the all in.
There we
all
go.
in, and we're going to get
There's
a
a
quick
call.
and
First all in and a call, heads up. We really, really, really don't want to see any dramas.
No, not here. We want to see this heads-up battle continue and go in a different fashion.
Sergey has a slightly better hand because he has the ace of clubs, so he can hit a club or a spade flush and win.
Ooh. Oh.
But no.
It will be a chop no matter what happens from here, but this is our biggest pot of 110 million in chips.
Well, that's them all.
It should be about 116 million in chips,
Yeah.
but
That's them all.
Steven actually had 55 million to start the hand, so 110 million makes sense.
Yep. And the extra 7 million, he wouldn't have been eliminated if he'd have lost a hand.
Sunglasses come back on. They came off while the rundown was happening. And Steven having fun with his reel. I believe almost the entire reel has to be for Steven, being that he lives here in Malta and he's a popular figure around the poker world, especially anywhere in Europe, whether it is in the Netherlands where he's from,
Yep.
Malta where he lives, but he's an international figure. And Sergey Lisi may put his name on the map if he wins. Either way, his name is on the map now. I mean, it's a huge second place prize, even if he can't pull off the upset, because he started as a 2-1 underdog, now has the lead. And welcome back to all our viewers. Thanks for tuning back in.
Oi, oi. In fact, talking of viewers, let's have a look at Facebook. Battle of Malta webpage. Did you say it was on 888 as well?
Yes, it's on 888. It's also on so on Facebook. It's on 888. It's on MPNPT, and it's on Battle of Malta. On YouTube, we are on also Battle of Malta and 888 Poker.
There we go.
And on Twitch, we are on Battle of Malta and Thrill Poker. But we are watching the Battle of Malta chat quite a bit.
So Steven's picked up a strong hand for the second hand in a row, 10s this time in the big blind. Sergey has limped the button, so Steven is always going to raise here. 10s is incredibly strong heads up.
Quite a big raise, though.
Yeah.
It's going to make it hard for Sergey here.
Yeah, he's out of position, so he's gone on the bigger side. That means Sergey has to fold a lot of hands now, and this might be one of them.
They are suited.
They are suited, yeah. Yeah, there's a massive difference actually here between King 4 off and King 4 suited. So he could very well make the call here, even though it's a big raise.
Is it not just 2%?
That's what they say, but it's more the playability. It's more the
Okay.
fact that when you have a flush draw, you can continue. When you backdoors, you can continue. You just hit far more flops. But yeah, in the long run, if they got it all in pre-flop, it does only add 2%.
Mm-hmm. Nice. See, learning all the time.
So he has called. So we're going to see the flop.
Oh my.
And look
What?
at this.
Both
Look at
players getting a
this.
piece, but Steven with the top set.
Top set against bottom pair, but also the backdoor. We talked about why King 4 suited is a better call. Now, it isn't when your opponent flops top set, but at least it means he has some equity.
Yeah.
He'd be pretty much dead without the flush draw. Steven, I mean, this is a good hand to slow play, but given the way Steven plays, how aggressive he is, he's pretty much always going to bet this flop, whether he has hit it or not. Just the fact that he's hit it so strong might give him pause, but he has come out betting. He's bet super small. He's bet 2.1 million into almost 10 million.
And Sergey thinking it over. I don't know if he's thinking about raising, calling. I don't think he's thinking about folding here, but
I assume he's thinking about calling because the price is so good.
I'd like to see what he was doing with his hands.
Yeah, players tend not to raise in position as much because
He has
that
made
takes
the
away.
call.
He has made the call. He'll probably fold the turn now unless he improves. So
lucky for him, he does not improve, actually.
Yeah.
He may be thinking, "Oh, I bricked. That's a shame." But
I like this check from Stephen. This is
it's
a really
sneaky.
good check because Stephen is going to bet this board 100% of the time on the flop, so therefore he's going to get called quite a lot. But he then has a lot of hands that have to give up on the turn,
Mm-hmm.
and now because he has such a super strong hand, he's basically mixing that hand in.
Here's announced check.
But because Sergey has bottom pair, he's quite happy to check.
And any bet, I do think, would be enough for the hand from Stephen
Yeah,
in the shot.
Can't imagine Sergey. I mean, if Stephen bets small here, Sergey might call. He's more likely to call on the river than on the turn, not having improved. But
Ooh,
There's Biggie.
it's about 7 million. It looks like so about half the pot.
about
But we'll
half
see.
the pot, yeah.
Count it out. And this can go either way, actually.
Yeah, Sergey hasn't snap folded, so he's going to have a think about this.
That is a great shot of a poker player dwelling on what to do in the biggest Battle of Malta ever. The cogs are going round. That is a great shot. It's still a 4.
Yep.
And it's still a king. Unfortunately.
Yeah, he would have folded on the turn, so Stephen might possibly extract a little bit of extra value here.
Anything can happen, though. He's reaching for chips.
Yeah, he might be going to make this call. He's really only beating a bluff, so it comes down to how often he thinks Stephen is bluffing here.
Well, he is
Reaching for
counting
the
out.
stack.
He's not counting out to raise, surely.
That would be enterprising, but
he
won't
kind
work.
of is.
So look at this. Look at this. He might be turning his made hand into a bluff.
2, 3. That's 15. That's 16. That's 17.
And watch him grab the cards now and toss them in.
So roll a
This is ballsy, but
18.
as we know, it's wrong
19.
timing. It is wrong timing, as we can see. But yep, they're going
They're
in.
coming in.
There's the bet.
Yeah, he's turning his hand into a bluff here. He's trying to get Stephen to fold a better hand than his, but a weakish hand, like a
A 10-9 maybe.
10-9, ace-8 that's hit a pair on the river.
19 mil.
Now Stephen has to do a bit of Hollywooding.
Yeah, it should just be a call, shouldn't it? Or is he? Does
There
he
is a
think?
flush on the.
There's a
potential
flush, but it's a backdoor flush, and he has
Yeah.
to think that Sergey would have bet the turn if he'd picked up equity.
Yep.
So now he's trying to figure out what kind of hand he's doing this, and can he extract value from the hands that he beats. There's a small chance, obviously, that he's behind to a flush or something weird like. Well, I guess 5-7 got there as well on the which was the open ender on the flop.
I'd
So
be surprised if he raised here, but he's maybe thinking about that rather than. He's obviously not thinking about folding.
yeah, he doesn't have the nuts, but he has a very strong hand, so he has to evaluate if I raise and get called, how often am I going to be ahead? And that's pretty much what he's thinking about at the moment. He's moved all in. He's decided there are enough hands he's ahead of
Yep. He
that have to
just-
call.
And it was a snap fold, no wasting time.
Yeah, I like that.
Tried to make the move, didn't work.
Yeah,
Showed some heart there, though.
yeah. Sergey was just a
Bad timing.
bad timing. But I do like the fact that even though he's a very deliberate player and he's taking a long time on his actual decisions, when he has no decision, he just folded quickly.
And I don't know if we would have seen Sergey do this if they were still playing for 150,000 difference between first and second. Being that he's locked up 217,000, of course it's nicer to get the trophy and the 247,000, but it could allow you to make the moves you wouldn't normally be making. You'd be playing a little bit more conservative. Also to take into account, the blinds are going to be going up every 30 minutes now that they made the deal. So that has to be taken into consideration. We may see Sergey not do this in the old way, and because we didn't really see Sergey really do things like this
Okay.
in the last 2 hours, I don't
Yeah,
think.
maybe the chop has freed him up in that sense. Sergey's down to 30 big blinds now, which is kind of crucial because now he can't do as much raise folding. This is typically the point at which a lot of players will start limping a lot of their range heads up. So it'll be interesting to see if he adjusts. And Steven's in a position where he can finish it with one hand.
I love the heart, though, that last hand. I mean, it didn't work out, as we mentioned, but I love the heart that Sergey's displaying since the break.
Yeah, I would have preferred if he had some sort of blockers to the kind of hands that Stephen could have. But yeah, he just decided he felt that there was a good chance Stephen was bluffing with a better hand.
And we have Laura Cornelius here in the background. Hi, Laura. Hope all's well. She's done a fantastic job as a Battle of Malta host all week long.
Yes. It's been good. Do we know how much we collected for the Save the Boobies? Oh, I think that's the last
Tower
time.
loves saying boobies.
I think that's the last time I'm gonna. I said that. It's just great. Did it really? Yeah.
So Stephen raising here to 2.6 million with the 6-4 suited. Plays well post flop,
Yeah,
but
and
the clubs he has, Sergey has a little better.
if we take it down pre-flop, that's great for us. Okay, so backdoors for both of them actually because they both have the same suit. Sergey has the much better hand because he is obviously he's ahead right now at the 9 high, but he has a flush. A gut shot to go with his backdoor flush draw. But on this kind of board, you're not going to love 9 deuce. So Stephen's pre-flop aggression might win this pot for him if he fires here, but he's decided to check.
Interesting. And this changes things for both players.
Yeah, they both pick up a flush draw now. It's interesting to see now. Sergey could lead here, having picked up equity.
He also has a gut shot.
He has a gut shot. Yeah, so he has decided to bet. Stephen has an interesting spot too because he's picked up equity as well. He checked the flop because he didn't want to just always c-bet this board. He's become more vulnerable then to check raises at the stack depth. But he's picked up equity now, so and it's quite a small bet. It's 1.8 million into 6.4. So
He's priced. Oh,
he's going to make the raise
Oh.
here. Yeah.
the Viking attacks.
Yeah. He's decided his hand isn't strong enough to call, but he can raise here.
It looks like over 7 million.
And he gets the snap fold from Sergey.
Let's see if it comes up. It is 7 million
And
exactly.
Going to see the customary Stephen celebration. Look back to his rail.
And he has nearly a 3-1 chip edge. This is his largest lead in heads-up play. Showing why he's the Viking.
Yep. Just somebody just asked, did they make a deal? The Nightbot instantly answered. Both players are now guaranteed 217,167 €217,167 euros. They will be split the remaining and then play on for 30,000 and the amazing trophy.
It happened during the break when
Yes.
they coincidentally ended the break with the exact same stack. They decided that was worth the exact same money, and instead of playing for 150,000 heads up, they're playing for an extra 30,000 heads up, which has kind of relaxed the playing style by Sergey a little bit. But he's still in this. I mean, 30 million chips doesn't mean he's out. He has about 25 big blinds. That's plenty in heads-up play.
Yeah, if he doubles up, he moves back into the lead, so he's not out of it yet by any means. 25 bigs doesn't give him a massive amount of play now, though, so Stephen will probably keep playing a pressure like he did in the last hand and just try and chip him down to the point where Sergey will be all in or fold.
So a completion and a check back from Stephen. Both players with an 8 in their hand, but no 8 on the board. 2 diamonds. Sergey has a diamond. Otherwise, really nothing doing for either player here. It probably hits Sergey's range a little bit better, other than the 5 itself.
Stephen has the better hand here, but Sergey has a lot of ways to improve. He's backdoor. He'll think the 8 is good, but we can see that it isn't. But he also has backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw.
Now he's a gut shot.
He has picked up a gut shot now. We saw him bet when he picked up equity in the last hand. He might go for the same thing again.
Once again, it's tougher for him because he's shorter.
If
And there is a big blind ante heads up, which actually makes it a little bit even more difficult for these medium stacks because
they'll lose.
it's a double blind basically.
It's a double blind. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the heads up thing. Yeah, the bet gets through there as you'd expect because Stephen just had queen high with nothing else. I've seen it done different ways. I've seen full ante. I've seen half ante because the table is effectively short-handed, and I've also seen some heads up battles where they just dispense with the antes completely.
Yeah. Yeah, in the UK, most events are no antes heads up.
Yeah, it does kind of make sense because it's just
Yeah, because every chip's in play,
Thing.
isn't it? Every hand.
yeah. So Sergey chipped back a little bit there,
Excuse me.
taking down that pot. So it's now 69 to 27 in big blind terms. Stephen on the button now.
Hand number 99 of the day.
Of the
For
day.
these- of not of the day, but of the final table.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Of the day, it's a little bit more because I did start 11-handed,
Hmm.
or 11 players to be more precise.
So this is an interesting spot for Stephen now because Queen Jack suited is a very strong hand when your opponent is relatively short stacked. Whether it's strong enough to raise call is questionable though. So he's gone for the limp because this is actually a good hand to limp reshove. If Sergey decides to raise here, Stephen might be all in. But Sergey doesn't take the bait. We'll just check his option.
King 5-3 is the flop.
Hits
Yeah.
the button's limp range okay. Also hits Sergey's not wanting to increase the pot range okay with the 5 and the 3. So not surprised this goes check. I won't be surprised if Stephen bets.
Stephen could bet here. There's a couple of benefits to betting. You have the best hand a lot, and if your opponent folds, as in this case, he'd be folding away 26% equity. You have ways to improve on the turn. A 10 will make you open-ended. An ace or a 9 gives you a gut shot. A club gives you a flush draw. Queen or jack gives you a very strong pair. So he hasn't gone for the bet. Sergey's hand isn't strong enough to call now, so the only thing he can possibly be thinking about is a check raise bluff. But he elects for the much more sensible fold. Just give up because he has nothing here. So it looks like Stephen's strategy is to basically play small ball and just try and grind Sergey down.
To like a 10 big blind stack or something like that.
Yeah, he'll take any spot that he can. Like I think had Sergey raised there, which he might have done because his hand was so bad. Sometimes people raise the really bad hands as well as the good hands. Stephen would have shoved pre-flop.
So you don't think he'll be afraid to get it in with something like Queen Jack suited at this point, but it would be obviously much easier for him to do if Sergey was down to 10 big blinds.
Oh yeah, with 10 big blinds, they're always getting it in, whether you open shove or not. But heads up Queen Jack suited is a very strong hand when the effective stack is 30 big blinds or less. And if you can be the one getting the chips in first, making the other guy fold a lot, that's pretty much what you want to do. So that's why it makes it such a good limp hand to shove over a raise. Because you are going to be limping a lot of weak hands as well, so you need to have some hands that you can just shove if the guy decides he's going to always raise your limps. So Sergey presumably just going to limp this. He's still in that 25 big blind zone where he should be limping a lot of his hands. And actually, he's decided to
Oh,
fold.
our first walk of the heads up battle that I've seen.
Should have gambled with Fraser.
Our first walk.
Damn.
Well, we still haven't seen Steven walk, his opponent, but
can't
first
imagine
walk by
Stephen-
either player.
The
Yeah.
bet was a walk on the final. Excuse me.
It took more than 2 hours into the heads-up battle, though, for there to be a walk. To be fair, one every once in a while doesn't hurt. I was kind of surprised though because I did expect him, as Dara suggested, to just complete the blind.
Yeah, it's a horrible hand, but like we kind of have to call. I mean, Queen Deuce will actually be the best hand more than half the time there. Queen High is pretty strong, but it's just very unplayable post flop. So he decided he was just going to let it go, not give himself that headache. Stephen, this is the hand you would normally limp, but so this will tell us whether Stephen is going for an aggressive finish it now strategy, or he's going to just try and keep grinding him down. Looks like he might be.
It looks like a raise
It
here.
does look like a raise, so he's keeping the pressure up.
I think about 3 million. Let's see. 2.6
0.6
and Jack 4 for
Jack
Sergey.
4, I can't imagine is going to call. Considering he open folded Queen Deuce in position on the last hand, I can't imagine he's going to call Jack 4 with a raise. Stephen may be picking up on the fact that Sergey seems to be over folding at this stack depth, and therefore he's going to keep raising. Sergey hasn't folded immediately, so he's thinking about something.
Pulling the chips back, that usually means that you're willing to do something, whether it's call or 3-bet. And he's counting out some chips.
Yeah.
This looks like he's counting out more than what's in there now. It looks like he might be 3-betting ambitiously.
Yeah, well, this is really not a good hand to call with, so if you're going to play the hand, you might as well 3-bet it.
And it could work because Steven just has 8-7, depending on how big the 3-bet is.
Yeah, it really depends on the 3-bet size now, because if Steven's getting an amazing price, 8-7 is a very good hand. It flops very well, but it does get through. Yeah, so slightly inconsistent play from Sergey, I have to say. He folded Queen Deuce in position, and he 3-bet Jack 4 off out of position, but
Makes him unpredictable, though.
it makes him very unpredictable, yeah. It's hard to put him on exact
it's
ranges.
More than 8 million was the 3-bet.
Right, okay, that made it impossible to call then.
So watching the heads-up battle in the Battle of Malta
At Casino Malta,
at
at the
Casino
Intercontinental
Malta
Hotel.
in Malta.
It's a pleasure to be here. I don't know. I mean, I know what we're doing right after this ends, Tower, but I don't know what I'm going to do when this ends, let's say, tomorrow. I'm not going to be used to not being next to you.
I know.
I might start calling my wife
Cuddles
Tower.
and everything.
I think my wife might start being called Tower. She may look at me funny if I do that, though, so I'm going to try not to.
Sergey has almost the exact same hand as he had last time on the button, Queen Deuce, but this time he's suited. So let's see what he does with this one.
I'd be surprised if he folded again.
I would be too. And
Looks like he's getting aggressive again. We're going to see a raise.
yeah. Yeah, we're seeing a bit of dynamic going on here where both players are shifting gears in different spots.
Poker City on L hosting us. Thank you. If that's still Peter, thank you very
Here's
much.
2 point, yeah, and he's up against 9-3 off, so Stephen just folds. So at this stage, every pot counts, because particularly with the big blind ante, there's 2.5 big blinds out there every time. Stephen looking off to the side to his rail.
Does anybody remember Stephen without a beard?
Oh,
I do not.
I do not either. No.
No.
I mean, I knew him mostly as an online player, first. And I think when I started seeing him live, he had the beard. Did he not have a beard at some point?
I don't know. Well, obviously,
I think he was born with
I
a
don't
beard.
think he was born with one.
I think he was. The beard, the chest hair, the long ponytail.
The Viking.
Yes.
The look was there.
Just like the Marvel superhero character he is.
Can you remember what time we went heads up?
I don't remember the exact time, but it's been at least 2 hours that we're heads up.
Uh-huh.
So
I
Stephen,
should have taken note when we went heads up. Sorry, Dara.
Stephen's on the button here. He's raised with Jack 9. Sergey. The raise is smaller this time, I think, than the last one, so that allows Sergey to call more. 9-7 is the kind of hand that you typically would call with.
But Sergey's shown he can 3-bet with these kind of hands too, but he does just call.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a hand which flops pretty well now. Unfortunately for him, he's dominated in this instance, so it doesn't flop as well as it normally would, but let's see what the flop brings.
A better flop for Stephen. I mean, he didn't hit a piece of it, but his button raise.
Yeah, has a lot of ace-x and king-x,
Yes.
which Sergey would 3-bet.
And I'd be surprised if this gets checked back. Stephen reaching for the chips. It looks like 2 million. Indeed it is. And Sergey should be tossing his hand away, but he could also be check raising, and the check raise would look super strong if he did. But he'd have to have a good read on Stephen
It's just
to do that.
very hard to credibly rep a really strong hand here, because most of his aces would 3-bet pre-flop, and a lot of his better kings would as well. So
A king 4 though,
king 4,
or a pair of fours.
king 4 or pair of 4s possibly, although
A
fours
pair
might
of fours when check raise.
fours
though.
might just might try to get it in pre-flop as well, because
That's true.
good raw equity, but flops pretty poorly.
So there's only one hand, then it would be king 4.
King 4 is the only real hand we'd be repping, and when we only have one strong hand, we don't really want to check raise that strong hand either. So
The pyramid now by Stephen, and the way he's stacked
Indeed.
his chips.
It looks good.
Yes.
86 million. Plays 30.
30,
Yep.
so that's down below 20 bigs.
Yeah, we've extended the lead.
Sergey goes for the first time. That means he's now into sort of reshove mode, where if his opponent raises him, he'll be looking to get all the chips in pre-flop with a lot of hands. Not 9-deuce, it has to be said.
Here
but,
comes another walk.
Yeah, this could very well be a walk. I mean, if he's going to fold, if he's going to fold queen-deuce, 9-deuce is a easy fold.
And part of that might be that the blinds went up just now.
Yeah, he's definitely getting action there from king-jack suited if he'd done anything.
Because we're not used to the faster blinds. It's every
Faster
30
blind,
minutes.
they're flying by now, yeah.
800,000, 1.6 million, and you can see now all of a sudden Sergey just sitting on an 18 big blind stack. Even Stephen, as the chip leader heads up, has a 53 big blind stack. And another 30 minutes from now, if they're still playing heads up, we'll be at 1 million, 2 million.
There's a very good chance we're going to see an all-in in the next 30 minutes before that happens, given the stack depth of Sergey now. And 18 big blinds, we don't want to bang on too much about the big blind ante, but the big blind ante, 18 big blinds basically means he has 7 hands before he blinds out.
Very true.
That was quick. You must be more fresh than us two.
Stephen has a terrible hand now, but he I mean, if ever there's a spot to give your opponent a walk, this is it. But Stephen, it's almost against his religion to give a walk, I think. So he has decided to just call. Sergey is probably just going to shove this hand now. That's the normal, the standard play with what it is. He has 18 big blinds now. Oh wow, he's checked. Interesting.
Deceivingly checked.
If a 3 comes, this could pay off nicely for him.
Saved him, he says.
Yeah.
That saved you.
But Stephen now has 91 million in chips. That's the most he's had the entire tournament.
And Sergey is down to 26, which is behind.
That saved him, he says.
Yeah.
That saved you.
But Steven now has 91 million in chips. That's the most he's had the entire tournament.
And Sergey is down to 26, which is, if my